What's up, Jagger here, darling? How are you? Call me crazy. It's fine. Ah, here comes Anna. Good. Oops. Hey,
Hello.
should have 4 other guests at some
Oh,
point.
wow.
Yes,
How are you doing?
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
good.
getting better
Yeah.
every day, you
Hi,
know.
welcome back
So
to
Every
Big
day
Stage
you're barely
TV.
home from the
Today we're going
hospital
to do
yet.
I
a
know, I
speed
know.
paint
What's up?
of one of our
Yes. So,
glasses to show how easy these things are to
you know,
paint.
I had prostate
Here's the resin
initial,
house I have
prostate
to paint
cancer. They
today.
caught it
It
early,
has
it got
been
removed.
primered
That was
black.
2 days ago. Yes, I'm insane
Okay,
for
so
doing
we're all
this,
ready
but
to go.
do we have sound?
About 3 minutes into it so far.
Do you guys can you
We
guys
got
hear
our
me?
base. We got the
You
Hopefully
might,
they can
Chiller. You
hear
must
us.
be
in
you must be
here.
able to hear me then,
Smaller
right? Because
components.
and Alderon
We
can't.
have
Okay, good. All right, so
flat boards here for the
yeah,
loft.
all right,
And
good,
then I
good, good.
got
Just want to make sure.
a little
Les is coming on too.
little itty bitty window parts there.
So we got a bunch of guests because I want to do something
for
fun
the
and
flue up on
just
the roof, and this could be
have some
resin painted or
nostalgia
FDM
tonight. You know,
painted.
that's it. Something that's not doesn't go too deep, right?
Lastly,
So that's what
we
we're
have
doing.
a little ragtag door to put on the front with a filament
And I really
hinge.
appreciate you all coming on.
All right.
Yeah, refresh Alderon.
In terms of prepping the models, sometimes these little holes where the filament's supposed to run through can get clogged up.
And we'll do Sunday night too, Anna, but we'll go at 6:30. I made a deal with my
Okay.
wife because Eagles play at 8:30, 8:25, 8:30,
So
and
half an hour earlier?
yeah, we'll start a half hour earlier. That was a negotiation I had to make because it is a
Might
Sunday
need to
night
clean it out.
game,
If
so
you do,
I can do that.
you can
Yeah,
use a
so I
drill
already
bit.
got that title
5/64
worked out.
is
I've been
the
getting
size
caught
you
up
need
on a lot of stuff. It's just,
to clean
by the way,
out.
everyone, I may be switching from sitting
There's
to
holes.
standing a lot.
So if I have a door there,
Yeah. So it may happen. We will have. I know Les is coming on. I know Chuck Cumbo is coming on. I know that Curtis is coming on, and I believe that Gary Julian's coming on too.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's good because you chose a topic that I'm useless
got
at.
those holes
Oh,
or nearly
no,
useless.
I don't know about that.
No, it's okay, but yeah.
Because we're
just
talking
kidding.
about nostalgia, so
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't have to be something you actually
It doesn't
ran.
have to be module. Yeah.
The
It
first
could
thing
be
I'm gonna
nostalgia.
doing is
Yep.
applying
And
brown
so
That's good.
onto
yeah.
the timber frames.
So good to see everyone. Thank you.
I'm going to use a pretty good sized
just,
brush. I don't care about getting
My wife's
brown
like, you know, your
every
color
year
looks way better today than the last
for
2
this
days.
first
I'm like,
part.
oh, well, that's good
In
timing
fact,
then.
it's preferred.
So,
So there's my brown again.
and I'm not sleeping
Kind of
great either,
on the
you
lighter
know.
side of a mid-tone. Now I don't want to use so much brown that I'm filling in the details, of course. And if some of the black primer comes through, that's all the better. You definitely don't want to waste your time creating an even coat around this. It'll actually take away from it in the end, and it's kind of just a waste of time. You can go do something else. Do make sure you kind of hit the tops and the bottoms of your timbers. Okay.
See here.
Don't just paint the face
My,
of these things, because you're not going to be coming back later.
My sponsor,
the
the printing goes ever on, just said,
This is
"Oh, what
kinda
happened? You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just
last
no
time they
biggie. I
should
had
be getting painted unless you
2
absolutely
days
have to
ago."
come back in to do a little touch up. Okay.
All right, let's see. That's what time is it? 6:49. We got good. We're good. We are good.
Going at it. No special care being taken
Front page.
to keep the wood color off of the plaster parts, or to apply this wood color to the plaster parts with any
making sure we're good here.
particular intention.
Thanks.
And I might
No game tomorrow
lazy
night,
these,
obviously. I
let
can't
some
that
of
I
the
can't do,
black-
but we will have a Gavin on Sunday.
black timber
So we'll only have
lines
2
come
streams this
through,
week. So
kind of dry brush it.
Am I
quite a
being a
bit,
good patient? You can
opposed to
ask
like
my
a straight
wife
paint job.
because she's like, and she today
I
went
might
back
do
to
it both
work, so she
ways.
only took off
Sometimes I might
yesterday and Monday,
saturate it
and
a little bit, and
yeah, I'm being good.
sometimes I might just kind of
I am.
hit the tops and move along.
So
Variation is really the key. You want to paint badly differently all over the place, okay?
yeah, I'll be
So you
watching that
want
game
to
too.
avoid
Got nothing else going on tomorrow
painting
night, so I'll watch that game.
the same way.
Thanks.
The key is really different amounts of pigment in different areas.
She want like you catch her in the corner of your eye sometimes down in the basement, but she doesn't come on streams. No, that's not her thing. So, thank you, Michael. If you your VIP badge is up, so if you give me another 5,000, I'll just keep it on. You and Dale. So I just here comes Les. Yeah, I am tougher than a $2 steak. That's so true. Yeah, she's not. I mean, she's not a gamer like that. She's an artist and all, but not a gamer. Which is all good.
Hello.
Hey, Les. Thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Hey. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're gonna have some other people coming in and out all night, so yeah, it'll be fun. Steph and I got you.
Look back at some nostalgic adventures, eh?
Just it's getting nostalgic. Yeah, that's all. Maybe when you were a kid. Oh, I love this.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I know Gary's going to come on, and when Chuck will hop on when Gary's on, because both of their favorites Isle of Dread. So we'll get and we did do one back in the first 100 episode, which is awesome. And yeah, so Michael, just a Michael, just a what do you call it? A turn in, a 5,000 turn in for Free City of Altamira to keep the VIP badge. That's all. It's like 16 days, and I figured I'd let you and Dale just re-up them before I turn them off. That's it. Yes. By the way, like I said, I'll be going. In some instances, I may be standing and sitting, and we'll see how that works. But I may have to. So you may see the. I have the catheter bag on my leg. I don't have the big one. I have the small one that actually goes on your like upper leg up there. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm trying. Yeah, and it's good. I mean, Daniel, it's just the way it is. She's we just never had that crossover. I think it's better that way. Actually, to have different things that you love.
And sometimes, what you love about it changes with time.
Exactly. I can't imagine, like, and I know there's a lot of jokes that were on the Felicia Day with the Guild, but I could never imagine, like, ending up being married to, I'm sorry if I'm, don't get upset, but a World of Warcraft person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, all right, we're a couple minutes early. That's all right. All right. Do I look okay? Back normal, right?
You do. You
Yeah.
look okay.
All right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, I forgot to do something. So, yeah, I have half of something here. I'm gonna take. It won't kick in for 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I forgot to do that. I should have done it. Coughing hurts. Coughing hurts real bad.
Yeah.
So, we'll have some other people coming on tonight. We'll have Chuck Cumbo and Gary Julian and Curtis and William Henry Dvorak will be hopping on and just maybe giving us some of their suggestions on some nostalgic adventures and stuff. Hey, Bones, that they have that they remember, and just keep it. I'm going a little stir crazy, you understand, in the house, because I'm a clock watcher. You know that, So if
Yeah.
like it's the middle of the night and you can't sleep and you look over and you look at the clock every 5 minutes, you get a little start going
Oh,
a little, because your sleep schedule's all messed up. So I came home. Thanks, thanks. Well, if I stand up, you'll see the tip, just the tip of the bag on my leg. So you won't see anything, graphic. But I may stand because I have to. So, but like I was in the hospital like 4 on Monday, and maybe 3:30. I got home 4, and then I went upstairs. Next thing I knew, it was 9:30. I crashed, and so you know, it's coming along. It is really coming along. So let's just have some fun with this discussion tonight. Um, right, that's it. And for me, yeah, yeah. This is easy. This is easy. I got an ice pack right now, right here on the incision. So because it's a 1 cut procedure, right below the belly button in. So just to give you the technical about it, they used to do 5 incisions. It's still with robotics, but this was a 1 cut procedure, so the healing process is a little bit more quick. So, yeah, 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 absolutely. And I have a reclining bed too, Bones. So I'm sleeping reclined up all the time. So yeah, I can't lie flat. And plus, they're worried about pneumonia and all the other stuff. That's why I'm walking around a lot and back and forth. So, yeah, absolutely. And you see it in the industry too. So, all right, so we got lesson Anna to start us off here. Um,
mhm.
this is an easy topic. I'm going to show this. I'm going to share this. This is not necessarily nostalgic, but put my wall of fame up here. So, Les, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Oh man, you've got some really great adventures up there.
Yep. Yeah, but it's on my wall of fame. But they're not. Some of them. I mean, I have stories about all of them, but I don't know if I would call all of them as nostalgic. In particular, I don't think Egg of the Phoenix is nostalgic, right? It's
Yeah.
momentous, but I don't think it was nostalgic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, it's like there's a certain age, um, when I was so hardcore into D&D and AD&D. And then I drifted from the fold. I drifted away into Traveler for a while because towards the end of first edition, and it was TSR was kind of letting me down.
Yeah.
Um, and then I strayed away from role playing game. I came back a little in the '90s. Most of the when I think nostalgia, I inevitably think of that kind of feeling I had whenever the next White Dwarf or Dragon magazine came out, right?
Yeah. And
Or
then
when you
Dungeon.
first
Yeah.
and later Dungeon, or
Yeah.
when you would crack open those modules and the smell of that paper. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The modules had a very distinct kind of smell from the ink and the production. So
Hey,
I was like,
Judy. So that's a great one, and I have that with this one here, Showcanth. I'll tell you that. I'll tell that story as well. So Anna, you're not a module runner, but you've been around these
N-
for a long
Oh,
time.
oh, yeah, I have. But I was going to, when I thought about nostalgia, for me, it's not only the module or the places, but it's also the rules because I've been using so many different versions of D&D and Pathfinder and stuff over the years. So for me, nostalgia is not only the places we go to, but it's also how we play. That is
right.
part of it. And that's one of the reasons I want to do Hawk Tales because 5e has great math, but it doesn't bring the nostalgia. It doesn't bring in the nostalgia for me, so to speak. So I want to somehow I make my own best of edition. And so I was like seeing where was it the most fun, and second edition in for us or for me was definitely better than first edition. Third edition was better than second edition in some ways, but not necessarily in all of them. And then Pathfinder was better than third edition, but still there were a few things I missed from especially second edition, first second edition kind of thing that was more Greyhawk a D&D stuff that got lost in Pathfinder. And then I tried Pathfinder 2, fourth edition, Pathfinder 2 and 5e. and they were great from a math perspective, better. But then I started losing things that I could do, so to speak. So that is partially, or one of the I think the biggest reasons I want to do Hawk Tales, because I want to bring that nostalgia, the way that I love to play,
Yeah.
tweaked to how I
Yeah.
want it now, so to speak. Because I realized that if I go back and play what we did
Hey, Fuzz.
in late second edition, early third edition, or even Pathfinder, I realized that no, I don't. I loved it then, but I want some of that feeling, but with adjusted math, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand how you're feeling, and my difference is I kept on editing the rule system I was playing.
Exactly, and I didn't. So
Yeah,
now I
yeah.
need to do it now. Yeah.
That's okay.
I did it to some degree, but not anywhere near as much as you did.
Shattered Saint, it's one of my favorites. We're going to talk about Ravager of Time. Oh yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Cardman. I'm getting there. So,
Yeah.
trivia question: how many of these modules on here are second edition?
Not that many, if I can see I don't think any. Or maybe, hang on a second. Yeah, there is one, the Return of the Eight, or
That's
whatever
it.
it is. Yeah.
That's
I
it.
think that's the only one I can see from the thumbnails here. All the
One-
other ones are
One
yeah.
basic, 3 third party,
Yeah.
and all the rest are 1E.
Yeah.
That's why I figured I'd just start here with nostalgia. We can go back to
Yeah.
this. And we're going to bring this up a couple times too, because Gary, of course, as always, everyone's breaking my balls, which I guess is a sign of love. But
Yeah.
here's his Wall of Fame joke one, where he's got puppets and a doom grinder and all
Yeah.
sorts of other stuff up here. To Return to the Temple of Mental Evil. And then what's this one say? I can't read what it's supposed to say, but that, that's Barrier
Yeah.
Peaks, Holy Crap Bugs, Q1, all sorts of fun things here.
Yeah.
So, and the Falcons. Yeah. So, isn't that funny, Chuck? Chuck, come on anytime you want, man, because Gary's going to be on hour 2. So come on whenever you want, man, because I know there's other adventures besides Isle of
Yep.
Dread you're into. Man, some of these, so I'm going to start all the way back with one here, and then we'll just maybe round table it until, for the time being. Does that make sense? Sound good? Okay.
Yeah, and Duty Booty, I agree, Pathfinder. It has some of its own built in, and also a lot of my problems was in that sense was that most of the Pathfinder players I played with weren't interested in GREYHAWK really. So that was the big letdown, so to speak, of that age.
So after B1 and B2, the first AD&D adventure I ever got was there you go, Hidden Shine Tomocon, first one.
Nice.
But not realizing what the difference between tournament play and regular dungeon crawling is, I was like, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so when you're young and I guess this would come out 79. This came out 79, 80.
Yeah.
You're like, what? A lot of it's like, man, traps everywhere, just all sorts of crazy things. So, yeah, Sam, I agree 100%. And we're just going to have fun going over some of them. Now, it is it's a thoughtful adventure. It's for 3 players. That's it. 3. So, it is, you got to, I think, what'd you have? A fighter, a thief, and a cleric. No mage in the party. So, yeah. Well, these are really like Tomb of Horrors, this Ghost Tower of Inverness, they're really nasty because they got all sorts of things in there to trip you up. I mean, a lot, like just room after room after room, and they go a lot more slowly than even though you're supposed to go with them with all high speed. So probably it wasn't I probably would have been better off having another one, but it deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame for that. So, yeah, but the Creeping Axe, right? Yeah, and also the one. Here comes Chuck. Awesome. The one that imbues you with a catechetical spirit. Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. So, Chuck, what's going on? Oh, I can't show that for you, Chuck, right there. That's what you're waiting on.
Hello.
There it is. Okay, no sound.
Well, we can't. No sound.
No sound.
How about now?
There you go,
Yep,
man.
there you go. Gotcha.
There you go. Chuck Controller Games, everyone. Good to see you,
Howdy.
dude. Good to see
How's
you.
everybody?
Chuck is just waiting for he's a knowledge red man. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, Chuck's slightly under the weather too, in a different way, but yeah.
Yeah.
So how you
I've
doing,
been,
man?
I'm all right. It's because COVID won't let go though. I worked all day yesterday with no problem, and then today I've been struggling all day.
Hey, Dickers.
Just tired of it, but it's all good, whatever.
Yeah, and Dickers,
Mhm.
that's it. Even at Gary Con, that is getting a little bit by the wayside. Curtis in the group, we can ask
Mike,
Curtis when he gets on. I don't think they're going to run do that tournament anymore because they're always short on what's it
which tournament?
the D&D Open. They're
Oh
always
yeah,
short on
we've
good
got our tournament.
DMs. You know, they're always
Actually, our
yeah.
tournament went really good last year, like really good. But
Coach,
we made it too big. I backed it back this year for Gary Con. It's going to be one day instead of 3 days. That was too much.
aches and pains, and a lot of stuff. Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
there can be a lot of fun things too, and just the memories. So let's get Les. So
Oh, yeah.
give us one of, and it doesn't have to be on my list. It could be anything you will remember.
Oh well, kind of a twofold split. The first thing I remember buying, and I think these were I'm pretty sure these were these were in order. The first two modules I got.
Mhm.
Keep on the Borderlands.
Right.
And again, I knew nothing about the difference between AD&D and D&D. I just knew there was this D&D game that I was fascinated by. So the next one was Ghost Tower.
Yeah, I should have them both. So here you go. Keep
Those
on.
tires are well, shit. They ain't none of them I don't dislike, but Lynn's stuff was particularly really good. I liked it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Alan Hammock for
Oh yeah.
how many people here played Keep on the Borderlands more than 3 times? Raise your hand.
God bless. We tore that thing apart.
Yeah.
We built areas in it and stuff.
Hand raised, man.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, over and over and over, because it was just so. That's true nostalgia.
Well, we played a shit ton of. I still run a lot of B1 too, believe it or not.
Yeah, you can Search of the Unknown.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I put Berserkers in it. Makes it a lot of
I
fun.
wonder who they go to touch up.
Ones.
That's a good question for the PDFs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good
really,
question.
look like you've never had the opportunity. Well, there's Return to Keep on the Borderlands. It's what's that? Kendall Keep. Which is kind of, you can place it, but it's like in the Yomri or whatever. I put mine in the Shieldlands. That's good too. Thanks, Delaware. So 10 times, yeah. It's been a lot for me. It's at least 3, probably more like 5. But like the level of all the undead on it in the Caves of Chaos is tough, right? That's when it gets serious,
Oh yeah.
So, but
I think it's some of the things that I love, and I was saying earlier that when you love something, sometimes you get older and you feel a little bit like, I can see what I saw with younger eyes, but I can't feel the same way, right?
Right.
Or there are things that you look back and you go, it's actually beautiful in a way that I didn't really think about at the time. And it's that latter, that finding new gems thing. When I go through Keep on the Borderlands,
GREYHAWK, yeah, it's funny.
There's just so much cool stuff that's set up, and so many ways that the players can negotiate the caves, and the factions. And there's still that underlying idea, that's still keeping that intrinsic idea of an incursion of chaos going on as well. I mean, it's just got so many things that I love in that one adventure. And it's doing such a great job of juggling.
You can even run a whole adventure just at the keep.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's one of those.
Yeah,
it's like three clicks on the fan, please. I summoned him. I want to.
Oh wow!
I'm getting sweaty. No, I thought I'd be cold because I've been cold last 3 days, but it's like, yeah. So, yeah, that was the sun there. So, yeah, that and Ghost Tower is, Tower.
That and White Plume Mountain introduced me to, sometimes it's all right to go off the chain a little bit.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Because there's some really cool stuff there that's almost reminiscent later of the of Gygax's Dungeon Land things. It's got that Alice in Wonderland kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to say dream logic almost. I'm sure that there wasn't any unless somebody had been smoking something with Ghost Tower or White Plume. But the idea is that somehow there's an underlying kind of it's like being caught in a bad dream. Everyone uses the funhouse comparison. I always think of that great line, "For whom is the funhouse fun?" Right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, the John Barth quote. So yeah, that was that's my reaction to those, is that there's some nightmare fuel embedded within the funhouse, as there should be, I think. And again, it's a juggling act. It's fun. It was great to see at a young age someone who was doing this and mixing elements of things that I like. Right, you would have uh, this magic item, which was clearly like based on something from a Michael Moorcock novel, or you would
Right.
have this encounter that is reminiscent of something out of Paul Anderson, and you'd be going through this, and you'd be like, again, it's that thing where people, I've said before, if Greyhawk is a kitchen sink that is a feature rather than a bug, and it's part of the beauty, it almost becomes its own
Oh,
kind of art form from what's tucked in and how, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
So
And that's a good way of looking at it, like a kitchen sink. But it's kind of funny because like nowadays people write adventures, and I see a lot of people doing tributes to older AD&D
yeah,
stuff, right,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, right? But what's funny is the stuff they're
Thanks,
tributing
Joby.
was stuff that a lot of it was tributes that were put in originally as Easter eggs from out in the real world, our movies, and
Yep.
our books that we read and everything. So it's kind of
Yep.
funny how that's all kind of chained together,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let me see what we got here. So,
But-
hey, go ahead, Anna.
50-year anniversary. This is really the year of bringing back the oldies, so
Oh
to
yeah,
speak. So,
absolutely.
so that's why I think
Yeah.
we see a kind of a peak of stuff. So hopefully there will be some new stuff coming up in the future. Maybe not for us really, but for I think the general D&D audience and other games. So
Thanks, Tim. I'm doing
yeah,
well, dude.
yeah, I'm kind of curious. Will there be new settings and stuff coming in the future? So maybe, well, at least Kobold Press seems to do it. But now it's nostalgia, so should not speculate in that.
I think I didn't set the giveaway up. I didn't start it. There you go. Sorry.
No, I was
everyone.
going to ask you what was wrong with you.
Yeah, I didn't start. So
Wrong button, Jay.
yeah, wrong button all the time. Goblin Wars. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I really appreciate it. So, like I said, I may have to stand a little bit here, up and down a little bit, because I shouldn't be sitting for that much at a time. But
Right.
yeah, that's like Michael. Thank you, because I would have gone half the show without even realizing the classic D&D reprint wasn't working. So, most later writers don't get. So there's inspiration adventures too, and I'll give you one as an example. If you love Tomb of Horrors, then there's one in Dungeon, which is Mud Sorcerer's Tomb, right?
I remember that.
Yeah, that
Yep.
is an ode to an ode to the original, baddie one where there's instant deaths all over the place and all, and yeah, it is nasty. It is really
tell you-
nasty. So
I'll tell you another one that you just jogged my mind was what is it? Tomb of Doom by Jim Ward.
yep.
It's another one.
Yep.
I like those. The thing about those, like I love Tomb of Horrors. I love it, but man, if you outside of like your buddies at the house, try to run that thing like at a one shot or a convention, you forget it.
Yeah, and that's something that I saw. I asked Eric Mona to come on. He just wasn't able to, because Eric has really been nostalgic. This is how I got the idea for this show. Eric's on Facebook putting B series up, and he put Vecna Lives up, and he goes, "Should I run this at GaryCon?" I said to him, "That would be great, but you can't run that in 4 hours, or even 5. I don't know how you run Vecna Lives in 4 to 5 hours." Right, So he's like, yeah.
And that's assuming that everybody's going to agree. They're going to like. That's why
that's
me. I read
one.
Tomb of Horrors at GaryCon a few years ago, and they spent 2 hours just trying to get through the right tomb and all that nonsense. They're terrified,
Right.
I'd have been better if I'd have called it like Hut on the Hill or something. And they went in with all these. We're going to die. Let's be real careful. And it was like, oh my god,
I'm getting good at snippeting pieces of an adventure for a con.
Right.
So
that's good.
Just run the first part with the.
That's what I've done with White Plume Mountain. It's my go-to
floated.
now at cons is White Plume Mountain because it's so modular.
Yep.
I can just pull it apart and move it around. Like you mentioned a while ago, it's.
Oh, dude! I ran the one with they go into the here, and I got Anna's map up. I think it was Sean Reynolds did this one. I ran it just recently, kind of separated it out. The one where they go into the Mist Marsh and they're all the mutated lizard men. Yeah, that one. That part of Blackwall Keep. The one that starts at Blackwall Keep, right?
Right.
That part 4, I think it is 4 or 5 of the Age of Worms campaign, and I ran it just recently for my group because I got there's tidbits of stuff going on across because you know me, I don't adventure path anything, right? It's a lot of I'll have 2-parters, 3-parters, 4-parters, but I won't run something that's like 9, 10, 11, 12 parts because my guys can't, they're transient, they get bored after a certain amount of time. So, but that's a good one. That was a good one there, and thank you all for the hype kicking us off here. All right,
Jay, I was going to say, and this goes towards Chuck's point too about the modularity of something like S1
right.
or C2. I think that's a great it's a great kind of way of training, if that makes sense. It was a great bit of training as a DM because on the one hand you have your sandbox kind of thing going on with like something like Hamlet or Borderlands. You also have in this the ability. Well, I need a room right quick. Where can I pull a cool room from? Hey, there was that cool room in this adventure. I'm going to lift it and put it here.
Yep.
Recontextualize it, and that becomes such a handy tool for a DM as you get older, like being able to,
Oh
ruthlessly
yeah.
steal, if you will,
Right. Yeah.
or
Ruthlessly prep.
yeah, inventory and requisition. Isn't that the line from Nate and Hayes?
Yeah. In
So
fact,
yeah,
but y'all were talking, I guess when I hopped in, you were talking about um uh shit.
It's
What's
all
the
right.
adventure? You were just talking about it.
I was talking about Tomocon.
Yeah, Democon. So that's another one that I've pulled. I'll switch it in with White Plume out. That's those kind of moments like that. You can just pull pieces out. It's so great,
yep.
Yeah,
And you know that
absolutely.
you get the room so much, you just know, oh, what was that? Oh yeah, that. You'll just throw it in there.
And, and,
It's
and
good.
the amazing thing is now Anna and I, from all having all Al Hammock and everyone else on, we know that they took their own parts of their own personal campaigns and melded them into Greyhawk.
Yeah.
White Plume
Yeah.
Mountain, all that. It was not originally part of, it became part of Greyhawk in that coalition. The same thing with Len stuff,
Right.
which is
Right.
when you think about it, I guess that's a good way to do it. Get your friends all in on it and make something really cool. So,
Well,
yeah,
and that's the beauty of Greyhawk. It wasn't a
yeah,
design setting. You know what I mean? It's a kitchen sink, like he said. It's a kitchen sink. And that's what's so
absolutely.
beautiful about it.
Yep. Yeah.
Any campaign settings that are born from the table, I think, are just the best. No offense to anybody out there. I just felt there's just something about, I don't know.
Water rises through play, and
Yes,
yeah,
the legitimacy of it and all this is how. And then what's cool is when you come across a really cool setting you love, then you find out later on it was an actual table setting. It blows your mind. Oh, there were
Yeah.
actually people doing this.
Yeah,
This
that's
wasn't
so
some
true.
Yeah.
story somebody wrote.
But and they setting seems to fall into two general categories. One that have their origin as someone's game setting or that
Mhm.
comes through play, so to speak, or interaction with players and you write it and build it. And the other one is constructed in order to sell the product line, so to speak. It's made from scratch to fit a game or a product line or somewhere
Right.
to put. And they're not necessarily worse, but in some ways they're different in that sense that they have their Asian stuff here, their pirate things there, whatever, and to me they are a little bit too stultified often because they
Yeah.
need to be easily understood by the person who purchase it. You don't have to study and play for 10 years before you figure out the little cool things.
Right.
They are yeah.
I love any kind of a thing that's not tied to mechanics. Absolutely.
Yeah.
More agnostic, the better. That way you can just, again, just like from
Yeah.
adventures, you can borrow from that as well,
Yeah.
and
That's
And
funny.
now I need to was meaning aired. Was that a setting that was a home setting before it became CNC's official setting?
Yeah, it was. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Embarrassingly enough, until probably about 2 years into working for the company. Yeah, about 4 years ago,
Yeah.
he asked me some questions about Air, and I couldn't answer because you need to read it. And so
Mhm.
I got it on Kindle, and I've read it. Gosh, I've read it a lot now. I've really fallen in
Mhm.
love with it. Right?
Oh
It's
yeah,
actually it's my campaign of choice now. Not
yeah.
I actually switched from. I finally shelved Forgotten Realms after all those years, and moved it just because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just it was a refreshing thing when I found out that
Yo,
the whole
Nas.
story behind it was
72
Yeah.
was by players around Steve's table,
Mhm.
and this was in AD&D, not CNC.
Yeah, because that was before CNC was invented.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the setting was born through AD&D, which is even more
Yeah.
mind blowing. So yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I only
absolutely.
have a piece of it in my Altamira book, but there's
Yeah.
a piece of the area of aired. So Nas just did a re-up. he hit 6 years as a
Wow, man. Rock and
72
roll.
months. That's insane. Hey, Mike.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, I said that is awesome. Boom. So, yeah, lots of good things going on here with
Yeah, Sparky's right. They kind of were in Greyhawk and it kind of switched to Arid as they started melding the stories, right?
Yep.
Because what happened was is as they more modified Greyhawk more and more, it became their own world. We did the same thing in my group. Hell, we left Greyhawk for a little while and made our own world off of Greyhawk, but using the deities and demigods as our setting material. We had
You
the
were
Roman
fighting
up here.
you were fighting King Arthur, weren't you? Because I did the
Yeah, we
same
had
thing.
all the different areas on there.
I
of
did
these
the
demigods,
same
and then we
thing.
put we had one area on the map that was brown, and we called that was the place for the Tarrasque. We had to have him a
Hey, John.
place.
Yeah. And
Nice.
also younger players need to understand back then there wasn't that much choice. You couldn't go on the internet and find pages
No.
up and books,
No.
PDFs of
That's so
stuff.
true.
There wasn't much
We
slim
would get
pickings. Yeah.
we would get stuff off of ads in the Dragon magazine. That's how desperate. I mean, we
Yeah.
would go through every little bit we
Yeah.
get, and just everything. Any ads. Like I remember running some Traveler off of a space opera ad, some picture, and I designed an adventure in Traveler
Nice.
around, just stuff like that because we didn't have
You only had so
all
much.
this
You only
now.
had so
Yeah,
much
man.
content back then.
When I was growing up,
No, absolutely. Because it's just it's different time, different
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
We have everything right at our access. So, did you see what Gary put? He didn't make it, but Elon supplied a Greyhawk J boy. So yes, so
Oh.
he.
Huh.
So I am actually a
What?
clone, just like
Clone.
just like Paul from the Beatles.
It's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
a terrifying development. Honestly.
It is two of me running around. So, well, not running
I
right
know we
now.
couldn't handle it.
Not right. As you can see, I'm holding the ice pack right on my gut because it's all purple.
I'm sure that's
they
hurting.
use that liquid stuff to seal it back up. So sorry not to get gross, but making a whole adventure around the Lucrata monster from a dragon. Yeah, absolutely. Always do things like that. Always do. Come with your inspiration
Did he
wherever.
did we lose audio?
What's that?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think
Oh,
Chuck's frozen.
Chuck, yeah, he froze.
Chuck's
Oh.
frozen. Chuck's frozen.
Chuck's frozen.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, well, yeah, I am hanging in there. I am hanging in there, Naz. So yeah, I had that 2 days ago. I had the removal surgery, so I'm feeling better every day. That just went into the topic that Chuck just said for Gab and Sunday night. Developing stories from published source, and it could be a little tidbit, right? So that's what we're going to talk about Sunday night, all right? But we're going to
Nice.
start at 6:30. I think that's a good one too. So we'll
Yeah.
invite some people in just so you're aware there. Let me check. Which yeah, there you go. He'll come back in. So all right, Anna, you're up.
Okay. I was thinking that for me, I think the biggest nostalgia started when I started realizing that I can run sandbox. Before I tried to imitate the little, just the little adventure, so to speak. But then, welcome back. Yep.
Sorry, it happens.
Yeah. So it started in the, I think, late 80s after about 10 years of gaming, when I've been running my games for 7, 8 years or something like that. That's when I started realizing that I can run them long, continuous campaign arcs, so to speak. That before then it was kind of loosely done. It was more like technical dungeons or whatever, or a village adventure. And I thought I moved from thinking about different scenes with monsters and fights to actual, like, I started to think about it like a place where the characters go to an adventure, and I started to think, okay, what happens and so on. So it became a world that was fully developed. I started world build, so to speak, into it. That's when that was my big I kind of evolved as a DM. Really, it took 10 years for me to figure out what direction I wanted to take it. And that was the first golden age for me running games for about 10 or so years. And then then there was a lot of busy at work, and
Understood.
the players disappeared and stuff like that. And then so that was a couple of years I didn't run games at all. And then third edition came out, and I was kind of, now I need to reinvent. And then we had a second golden age in third edition, Pathfinder 1. And then the third golden age again after I moved here to California. That was the next. And each time I felt like I evolved and added something to the game, so to speak.
Okay.
The first one was just figuring out how to long world build. The second one was starting to tweak the rules a little bit and think about slightly change things, monsters and stuff like that. Some pneumatic items, some new spells and stuff. And now the next one is to bring it all together in some sense. Yeah.
It's great memories, Anna. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that you know your
And all the different,
experiences create
yeah.
really mold you into what you want to be as a DM, and I think that's
Yeah.
for all of us the
It's
same
been,
thing.
yeah, been striving to new heights for me, so to speak, in
Yeah.
order to try and make my games better. Yep.
All right, so the greatest D&D weekend of my life has to do with the
Oh.
the preview book I put out with Chuck, with Trollord, as we discussed it, and it's in there. It tells the story, and and this is 1987, and we're finishing it up, and we all go down for a weekend down at Marco's sister, because Mark's staying in Fairfax, Virginia, with his sister who works for the Pentagon. So it's myself and Tim and Tom and Walt, and Mark. So we finished up the Temple of Mental Evil there, and I was like, that was worth the wait. Now, it took forever to come out, right? 7 years for this thing to come out.
Yeah.
Yep. It almost became a myth.
It almost became a myth. Thank God it did not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because it was hinted at in Dragon
in
and stuff like
Hamlet,
that.
in
Yeah.
the Hamlet adventure, yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I can't wait. And so,
I'd love to know. I'd love to see interoffice emails during that time, deadlines and such. I'm sure there
oh
was
my
people screaming their
gosh.
head.
Chuck, we got to get with Menser and discuss this with him, because he's on by Gygax with Frank Menser.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him to. I think I'm gonna get him to. I've still got mine. I'm gonna get him to sign mine. I think I just got sitting there looking. I thought about, I should take that up there with me. Get him to sign. I'm gonna get
So,
Zeb to sign mine. I would dread. I'm gonna get him to sign
now,
mine.
I am not a node guy at all.
No, same
Yeah.
here.
I'm not
I
really
like the upper parts,
Yeah.
but the deeper
Yeah.
you go, the weirder it becomes.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
got
like,
really weird. So we didn't do
It
that.
is a wild adventure for sure.
It is. Banishing Zugtmoy, freeing Thrommel. Sorry, everyone. Noel.
God, it's been a long time since I've done
Yeah.
that.
but you
thing.
did that part, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, meaning you Thrommel is 3 in your campaign.
Yes,
so, yeah.
absolutely.
But nothing beats the Moat House.
Well, Hamlet is.
No, the
is,
Moat House is. Yeah.
Hamlet is the
Yeah.
I know.
one of the best written adventures
Yeah.
ever, because it's complete. It's a
Yeah.
complete sandbox
Yep.
town setting.
And I played the Moat House
form.
like 2 months ago with Amy Crittenden.
Oh,
And
cool.
she ran it again,
Really?
and it was
That's
so
cool.
cool because the slime in the stairs, and I was like, yes, I remember that from 40 years ago. That was so
just-
much fun.
You could just rob everybody in the village and retire.
So,
Yep.
yeah, nodes are a waste. But other than
And the spider in the tower out the courtyard, and yeah,
yeah,
it was
the
it was
ghouls,
brilliant.
which are really nasty, and Lareth the Beautiful is super nasty. Cool, Harley, that's awesome. So it never gets old. It's the most nostalgic out of them all. But
Yep.
Nice.
the old temple.
Good.
So this weekend, and I've told this story a couple of times. My apologies. This weekend we run temple. I get it done. Tim runs his Knights of the Eastern Sun game the next day. And second round, everyone's dead but Gazumba and his NPC Fensick. They're all dead. Because he
Really?
did this. Tim takes things literally. Double phantasmal force of dragon heads breathing, and no one yeah, so everyone's dead, right? And I'm like, Jesus God. So that adventure got over fast. So I had to come up with a third one that we had to figure out what we're going to do. And hence, that's when I said, we're going to clear the land. It's right here. The story is, if you have this, the story is right here in the forward. I tell the entire story of what happened from this Tim, the ever mysterious Tim, killing everyone in the previous adventure weekend.
Yeah.
So it's right here. So read it up. So that's talking about nostalgia there. So what's up, Curtis?
That's awesome,
All right,
man.
Curtis will be
Hey,
in.
Curtis.
We're gonna save Curtis's adventure that he's one of his favorites when he gets here.
Drive safe, brother.
Yep, man, absolutely. So there
Yep.
you go.
Hold on, I got an important phone call from the government. I'll be right back.
From the government? Oh boy, I was gonna say, it's probably Steven. So that's my memory of the most nostalgic weekend I've had. Now, I'll say recently, the Hateful Wars 24-hour stream, man, that gave me some memories too.
Did
But-
it?
Yeah, you had fun in playing in that too, right, Chuck?
Yeah,
That was cool.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. So Les, you're up.
Lots of nukes.
Oh man. The one thing, and this is a weird kind of nostalgia, but it's that kind of
It's all good.
textual thing that I'm interested in. I actually like the concept of the nodes, but don't think they were dealt with sufficiently in Temple of Elemental Evil.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I first read it, it's like I was confused. There seemed to be some problems that just as a reader then, because by then I'd read a fair amount of modules, right? A fair amount of adventures. I was like, huh. And of course, I noticed that it has two authors.
Right.
And later, of course, when I find out that there was some miscommunication, there's some stuff that was cut out, blah blah blah. Later, the kind of nerd in me goes, so this explains why there was this gap, or why this element went unexplained or underutilized, or it's suddenly cut off.
Right.
And that introduced me to the idea again that that even some things that we value deeply and that we have a great time with, A, can be flawed, and B, we can kind of learn from those flaws and that isn't to say, that's not me knocking something. That's saying that these guys who were doing a lot of this stuff were pioneers, right? There weren't any roadmaps.
Right.
I don't think there was really aside from maybe a couple of RuneQuest adventures, I don't think there was much of a model for something quite on the scope of Temple of Elemental Evil.
What the Shattered Statue, that was the RuneQuest D&D crossover adventure, wasn't it?
Something like that, I think, where they did it for both, standard them out for both, yeah.
Yeah. We actually ran that one, and I was like, it's okay, but it was.
But
like,
I'm thinking more like their Borderlands box set, or what's the Ruined City one that I think Paul Jaquet worked, or Janelle Jaquet worked on.
The Lost City.
It's like no, this is like a RuneQuest set. Pavis and the Big Rubble, that's what I'm thinking of. The two sets. Where it's this kind of like abandoned city, and then it's like the communities that have arisen around it, right? And that's just such a deep hex crawl. Whereas something like Temple of Elemental Evil, I don't think I'd ever contemplated. And I liked the way that there were layers within layers of conspiracy going on, right?
Yeah, factions.
Yeah, factions, and just the idea of whammies and reversals about who you can or should ally yourself with, if anyone. I've always liked that. That's something I loved about some of the those early Gygaxian things. Like we mentioned, Keep on the Borderlands earlier. It's a similar kind of thing with the factionalism that you find in the caves. Like, how do you play it? And it's always a treat. It's always a treat to watch players who haven't experienced these adventures having to feel their way through it and wonder, am I going to get my throat cut now? That kind of cold sweating fear of, am I doing this right?
Right. and there was no shade on anything new, but that stuff was just so wide open. I mean, they left it to you to determine what the group did. There was not a lot of rails on that stuff at all, especially with factions. Next thing you know, you've got factions, you don't know who to align yourself with, or who's good, who's bad.
We had multiple, just like I do now, we have multiple adventuring groups making forays into the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yeah.
And if you heard Tim on Sunday night stream, he's like, yeah, Jay screwed us over. Of course, one of his NPCs changed sides,
Right.
So,
right.
So we've had a lot of that. Yeah, I have to stand a bit, everyone. So
Yeah, it's just like with Keep. I mean, I couldn't tell you the number of forays we made, not just into the caves, but into the forest, and we developed,
Yep.
all those different areas around there. That was the base for us. That was our home base. We didn't even think about having a base of our own until many years later. You know what I mean? What's interesting about that is back my guys I grew up with, we play here at least once or twice a month, and I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago, I ran them through it again, just for fun. And the first thing they did was they tried to make the caves their lair right off the bat. They didn't even want to stay in the keep. They tried to move into the caves, and I was like, "You didn't do this 50 years ago or whatever." And they're like, "Well, I just thought it was interesting."
they tried to do that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they didn't even want to have nothing to do with that. They wanted to go into the caves and live there and fight stuff there. It was weird. It was interesting. I didn't see it coming. So.
All right, I want to share something here. Now that I'm standing, Christopher Koff, Broomgale, who does all those great screens for the fundraisers, he sent me something. Get well. So let me show.
Oh, how
you.
nice! That Chris, great guy.
Some coasters to keep your gaming table cleaned, and a resin skull. It uses game prop. Hope you were well after your surgery. But where do you see these, Anna? Especially the first one. So this is actually from Gary Con, a picture. He's put pictures on it, so it's got.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's got me. It's got Curtis and his friend. It's got.
Cool.
It's got Curtis, Jeremy, you, and Ed with his head down laughing.
Oh yeah,
you see Ed's
I
head.
remember that was so much fun. That was the first evening we were at GaryCon. I think evening we had the. That
was like Sunday night, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was before founded. It was during the end.
Exactly when we just got there. The first
advantage is having a pair.
Yeah,
and then he did two of these stealth ones, one in negative and one in positive. Yeah, cool. So these are nice. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that was really nice of him to send them. I really.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
So. Like I said, I am standing because I need to go up and down. I can't sit for very long. So I got to keep on standing. All right. Chuck, you want another memory? Just as soon as Gary comes on, we'll hit up with the Isle of Dread because
I think I missed that when I lost my internet there for a second or whatever. What are we doing? You're going over memories or what?
We're just going over nostalgic adventures. So, it's stuff that you remember from when you were a kid or, you played like, oh man, I got this great memory from, and, for me, it's, I got a whole bunch of them, but, I want you guys to share yours. So,
Okay. Unfortunately, most of mine's from DMing, right?
That's fine.
Of course. But I'll tell you one. It's good. It's a really good one. Some of those guys might be watching the stream right now. I sent that link out earlier to one of my group guys. So these guys we were in Forgotten Realms, and at the time there was a war going on, and so the area around the Moon Sea was under martial law, and you couldn't get up into that area without a pass, right? So these guys had been traveling for a good ways, and one of the guys in the group, my closest friends, James, he was with the second shift or third shift or something, couldn't play with as much. So, in those days, we were still, this was probably right around, we were probably like in 11th grade or something. We were still in high school, but we were about ready to graduate, right? And everybody had jobs and stuff. And he got a job working somewhere nights or something. He was a year older than me. He might have already graduated. But anyways, so he couldn't play with us. So we made this deal. Okay, you can play. And what we'll do sort of like, I would run him through stuff separate from the group. And at first it was working out really well. But then the problem was, at this time, the campaign was a evil campaign. The guys had set up a lair over in the river of Liss, which was just to the east of that old forest right there below the Moon Sea. And they had a lair there or a compound, and they were operating out of there. Well, being evil and such, we were really into our characters. Like everybody had like little descriptions of characters on the back and what was wrong with them mentally or what was good with them, and just all kinds of descriptives. And his character was evil, but he had a thing about families. He was brought up without a family, and so he loved the ideal of families and being in a family. Whatever. I didn't think much about the time. So he started hunting these guys. They had an altercation, an argument during the adventure, his last adventure playing with them before he went to this new job. So he decided he was going to basically track them down. He was playing an evil druid that was also multi-classed into an assassin thief.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. And so he was tracking them, and he managed to get a hold of the wizard's spell book and burned it. And then he stole it and then burned it and left it for him to find on down the road a little ways.
Dude.
So they got really pissed about him. They were looking for him, couldn't find him. So anyway, they end up just south of the Moon Sea, trying to go to the Moon Sea. I forget what they were doing. There was a group of them. Well, they decided they were going to waylay anybody coming up the road to get their pass to get into the city.
Nice.
Right? So they all are all sitting around waiting. What they don't know is my buddy James he was following them, so he was there. So I had sent him at this particular time. He had showed up for the session, and we were using notes. So he was sitting across the table from them with me, and I was giving him notes, and he was playing his character in secret. And they knew he was there, right?
Right.
But they didn't know he was there. But he was watching. So this family comes along, and they're in a wagon, and it's just a guy riding up front with a lady. They don't know anything else is in the wagon, so they surround the wagon.
Trojan
and
horse.
one of them climbs up the back and opens the back up, and there's this big mastiff back there, which jumps out and attacks this guy and gets him on his back. And so they immediately decide, you know what? We're going to kill him and take their pass. We don't care. So they start attacking the family. Well, he tries to do a sneak attack from the woods and about hits one of them. They realize there's someone else there. They're immediately, I remember during the adventure, they were like, a session, they were like, hey, you're there. We know you're there. He's like, no, I'm not here. So there was a priest of Shar, the goddess of darkness, and he cast darkness everywhere, just cover the whole area. Well, my buddy climbed down and got underneath the wagon. He was laying there. Well, they got this huge argument after killing the family. They got this huge argument about what they were going to do, blah, blah, blah. And there was one guy in particular that was playing a halfling. I don't know what class he was, but he got upset with the group because he was trying. We're all real life friends, so they're all trying to talk about real life. He's like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm just going to leave and roll into the character. So I'm getting on my horse, I'm riding away. And he gets on his pony and he starts riding away. Well, meanwhile, James slips me a note and it says, next person who speaks, I'm going to shoot a dart of type F poison on him. Okay, whatever, he's going for broke, right?
This is the problem with evil campaigns.
Right, exactly. It's just falling into utter chaos. I'm loving it though.
Yeah.
And so Chris gets probably about, I don't know, just starts to ride away. And he turns around and he says, Chuck, can I ride back to the group? And I said, well, you can do what you wanted to, out of the game or whatever. He goes, well, I'm going to ride back to him. I said, what do you say to him? Knowing damn well what's going to happen. And he says, I just want to say one thing. And then that dart hits him right in the neck and he falls over dead. You should have seen them. They lost their damn minds. They freaked out. Two of them ran off into the woods and just kept running. The other two tried to go into the darkness. He killed both of those guys off. It turned into utter chaos. And that just about collapsed the campaign for a couple of months until they finally we made up at school. They were mad at each other, which is kind of funny. So a lot of good memories from that encounter. That was a good one.
Those are the days, man.
Those were the days. We didn't have any schedule. We didn't have no, we just played.
Evil campaigns always go awry.
Mhm.
Always go awry.
They do. Yep.
Always. Yeah. Especially if you got goons like I got for friends.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I'm just getting this close.
Go Smith guys, if you're watching.
Oh, that's all right. Goons.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, Greg, they're fun for a couple sessions, and then people start at each other's throats. I always love the good versus evil struggle, and there's a lot of room for gray areas in that. There's a lot of room for the anti-heroes. I'm big on anti-heroes. It just is the way I want my campaign to go. We have some characters that are on the border of evil intent.
Yeah,
and it works.
One of the guys that plays he likes to play a lot of evil characters. He'll try to force them into the game sometimes, but he's actually playing a paladin right now. He had a witch, which is from our Haunted Highlands expansion. It was a witch class. But anyway, she fell under a geese and killed two of the party members while she was on watch. So that didn't end well. He had to retire the character. And his new character is a lawful good paladin, but he's playing him lawful. I shouldn't say anything about good. You know what I mean? He's so arrogant and so over the top. It's pathetic. It's almost borderline evil. Almost, right? So he's getting his way a little bit in that respect, but it still causes problems within the group a little bit, but he loves it. And they've got a barbarian, which he refuses to talk to him unless he calls him Savage. That's his name. He refers to him as Savage, and that's it, So it's good, though. These guys are good. We're good role players. We have a good time with it. But like you said, it can cause problems when you get this little sort of player versus player kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with it a little bit, especially with strangers, too. You don't even want to have that in kind of a public game or something. That's just, you have some trouble in, But Yeah, good
But
memories
as
though
soon
for sure growing
as it
up.
reaches a certain point, I am taking over the PC. Yeah, that's the problem, Blue Joy. Especially
Yeah.
if your campaign is set so that it's not going to work in future, and they won't be able to venture the party anymore.
Right. That's right.
That's the key. That's the key. That is the absolute key with it, and that's why I have no problem with like the Fritz Winchesters, the Gilthanuses of the
Leave
world, the
Fritz
Michael
alone. He's a good
Batons.
guy.
Those that are just like they're awful people,
Yeah.
but they're not evil, right? They're not really evil characters, so they
Yeah.
can fit into the game. They can actually play and go with an adventuring group and actually contribute to the group.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that's
Blowjoy's right. You're better off really at the end of the day if you want to do something like it. Just set up some sort of like arena battle or something because they like that too. If we say,
yeah,
oh, we're going to take characters, they love that shit, right? It doesn't have to
yeah.
be a part of the story and cause all that weirdness. So
Yeah, it's tough,
sure.
BB. It's something to watch out for. So, good story though, Chuck. Real good.
Yeah.
So, Anna, what do you got?
And I got one that I remember fondly because it was one of the biggest gaming events we've ever had. We played like a week.
Oh,
We
wow.
we have rented a place in Sweden and it was awesome location, old like farmhouse, and this is long before the Airbnb was mid-90s, but we rented it through some friends of friends, and so we had a huge like living room with a big fireplace and stuff. So we put together a bunch of tables together. So we had a huge table. We could set like 15 if need be. So we had room for a couple of different setups with game mats. And that's when we ran what we called back then surrounding battles, like simple battle rules. And we ran it was the GREYHAWK Wars. So
Oh,
the
nice.
characters, yeah, I used for advancing from Crockport down towards Shendel, and there's Redoubt, the fortified like big castle in between, and the characters were part of the force that was staying behind to defend it, so to speak, and
Mhm.
and IUCs were everywhere. So we ran for 5 days straight. We ran like 12, 16 hours a day or something like that for 5 days. That was an amazing, that was like a convention with just your buddies, so to speak. And that was a lot of fun.
That sounds
And
like a lot of fun.
we played like crazy. We were in
I
our,
mean, did you play like
yeah.
was it the entire weekend and you just went and
Oh
how
yeah,
many?
it was Monday to Friday. It was like
Oh,
Saturday
oh
Nice.
to
wow.
Saturday to Saturday. It was like a 7-day week basically. But we took a
And y'all
day
just
off now and then to go swimming and went to a lake and stuff like that. Went hiking one day and stuff like that in
that's
between.
good.
And yeah, we just gamed and yeah, it was amazing. And we cooked food and we sat and ate in the garden because this was summer in Sweden, so it barely got dark. And so we had a vacation week and that
That's
was that
cool.
was that was gaming like absolute crazy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I remember, Anna, you remember when I was in my early 20s, when I was first married,
Yeah.
we still played quite a bit. We were still riding that wave a little
Yeah.
bit out. We hadn't really
Yeah.
gotten into
We were
debt or
about
had kids.
30.
You know,
Yeah, I was about 30. And
was you?
and and
Yeah.
we took, yeah, so we game. We could be up all, but we weren't up too
Yeah.
late, so to speak. Well, we
Oh
we
my
we
God.
bought we gamed like in 4 hour, took a
Oh,
couple
we were
hours
terrible about
off,
it.
and then
My
Oh
we
yeah.
wife,
yeah,
my
we
wife put a
played.
menu up. She put a menu. She got tired of the guys coming over and raiding, so she put a menu up. You
Hmm.
want something to eat, you have to order up
Yeah.
a menu, and she made them pay her. It was hilarious. But
Hmm.
we tried. It was kind of funny because growing up in high school and stuff,
Yeah.
and even younger, you would go days without sleeping or getting up or
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah,
Then
we
all of a sudden,
tried
it's
not to.
like,
We
yeah,
took
it doesn't work anymore.
yeah,
It's like,
we made a grocery run every 2 days. So
yeah,
because that was like 10
Right.
miles to the nearest
that's
store.
a,
So we had
oh
to,
wow,
yeah, and then we bought pizzas, put them in the freezer because there was a freezer. So we put pizzas in the freezer and bought meat and stuff like that. That was, yeah.
that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing
so
like those
it
memories.
was a lot of fun. We were like 10 people there, 12 or something like that. So we were kind of almost like two groups side by side a little bit. And yeah, it was crazy. But you could do that when you were that age, and it was fun. And it was house ruled 2E was the rule system we used. And it was the only time I run extensively big battles. And remember, we were on one wall for like a day or two. We played a whole day just manning a wall, and one thing after the other came, and yeah, it was crazy. We rolled die, and we had some sketch things
that's
and
fun.
whatever. We built foam things, and we took things from the woods, and people carved little things and put there, and yeah, all sorts of stuff. So
That's so
yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
All right, Gary Holian's here. Yay!
Hello.
Awesome.
Hey.
How are
Hey,
you?
guys.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jay.
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm
Yep.
here, man.
You had us worried for a bit.
Well, yeah. I
Yep.
appreciate all the kind words and thoughts. No RPGs this week. I'll do this and I'll do Gabbard on Sunday night. I think that'll be the limit of what you can
That's-
see. I've been
yes.
standing up and sitting down. Yeah, so it's still
Yeah, don't worry about us. Just take care of yourself.
Thank you.
That's
Yes,
right.
Gary Julian is a Thunderbirds puppet, Mac. You got it. You got it. All right, I'm
Hey,
gonna
that
go
actually
over.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, man, the Thunderbird. That's when I was a kid. That was another thing that scared shit out of me. That cartoon. It scared me. That scared me, man. And I talked about. Good.
The stories were good. I mean, they felt realistic.
Yeah. Claymation though was like, I guess it was too real for the time.
Yeah. Well,
All
it's also really expensive and hard.
Let's go over this one here because some people go, I don't know about this one. Man, what a great adventure this is. No one can tell me if Graham Morris is alive still or not. I don't know if I wonder if Stuart and Paul and them know. I'd love to have him on because he does so many great UK series and Ravager of Time. This adventure. So you think Marquesa is evil? This Nuala is right there with Marquesa. So basically, I don't know if I should ruin it for everyone, but she has the ability to drain your life to you have 30 days left in existence, and that's how she keeps herself young. She basically steals your life force. And so you start off the adventure very early on, getting drained down to, your 80, whatever it is. Your say your death on your sheet's 102. You're 101 and 11 months. Yeah, your teeth falling out and everything, and you got to go take her out. And she's and with that she clones all your own people. You fight yourself too.
Right. Yeah.
What a great adventure this was, and Thunderbirds is still on. That's so true. But yeah, so she is. It was a nasty one. I really love this one. Really cool artwork on it. But yeah, for nostalgia, this was a challenge for my guys in the early days. Really, really. And then I reran it for Bill, the Master Crafter, and a bunch of the other guys who didn't play it in that first time. So I did run it twice. But
Yeah, I don't think I ever ran that one.
No. I think it's placed in this. It's placed in that lower, this area down here, right? Where all of them come, right? Out here, not Melkasha. Where is it? I think it's in the swamp area here, in the outside of Berghoff. Yeah. So, yep. Because that's where all the UKs technically are. So yeah, some really crazy stuff in that one. So all right, yeah. Oh, Bill, you did not catch that second time around. Wow, damn, you were on in '92, so I haven't run that for 32 years.
Oh wow.
They're not gonna. Yeah, my guys aren't gonna want to play that.
That's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
in time.
that's it. Oh, the other Bill did. The No Just No Bill did. There you go. Oh, isn't that upsetting? All right, so we got two people here whose love for one particular adventure trumps most of the other ones. Gary, would you say so?
So I was lucky enough to be on the jury panel for the 30th anniversary, the greatest modules of all time in Dungeon, and I rated this pretty much number 2.
Right.
So I thought really highly of it, and I got to write a little blurb about why I thought it was important. And essentially, it's the first module that takes the PCs out of the dungeon and into the full real wide world, And yes, it's an homage to things like Skull Island, where you could see all the fingerprints all over it. Yep. Hey, but if you get the idea first, you get to claim the the glory. So.
And we had an entire Legends of Lore. I think it was at 96 or 98. So we're talking about years ago. We did everything you wanted to know about Ghost Tower. Sorry, not Ghost Tower. Listen to me, geez. About Isle of Dread, and so much so. Let's go over this.
Yeah. So Chuck, early in 3rd edition, we got the opportunity to steal it back into GREYHAWK. So.
Yes,
that's how it got reimagined.
And if you want to learn about this,
that's a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
Jay, I'll confess to you, I don't have a printed copy, but I do have the PDF.
Oh, you do have it in PDF already? You just didn't realize it?
I have everything that's got to do with that island in PDF.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
I've scoured all the dungeon magazines, all the dragon magazines,
Yeah.
everything.
So
Do that huge poster that has all the animal and flora and fauna on it. That's amazing. Whoever did that, that's amazing.
There's some cool stuff out there for sure. And I was just sitting here looking through my folder online at what I've got because I wasn't for sure. I told Jay I thought I had it, and I went back and looked, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
I have it somewhere in print, but I can't lift up a whole bunch of books now to find it. So
no, I'm gonna come help up there and help you find it. Don't worry.
So Exploring the Isles of Dread by Gary Julian. So this is Dungeon 114, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you want to go for seeing all the things that were changed in the.
So in the same issue, there was a adventure by Greg Vaughn called, I think, Tides of Dread.
Yeah.
Where it was sort of a revisit of the island. And so Eric said, let's also do a GREYHAWK retelling of the tale. And so I fleshed it out dramatically and
Torrents of Dread, page 50.
And
it looks like it went
earned the opprobrium of all the Mystara fans who thought that it belonged to them. So
it looks like it was I have the copies I have are Dungeon 140, 141, 43, 44, 42, and 45 and 6. So it's strung out.
Okay, so that's the whole adventure path.
Yeah. Right. I've got for sure.
But
I absolutely am obsessed with it. In fact, I'm working on a setting for us in the south of Aird, and I'm actually adopting. It's my Isle of Dread. It's
Chuck, you got to steal
it.
I have to, man. I have to have Isle of Dread in there, man. So I'm 30.
I think
me do it. So
I think it's an archetype that every world could have. A sort of a lost world setting with dinosaurs and monsters.
Yeah,
flea stacks.
Flea stacks. Absolutely.
I want it so bad.
A wall that the villagers don't want you to cross. It's so classic.
Right, and I've done that. I've actually put a wall in. I put starting off, but now the reason the wall was there originally was just to keep big monsters back or whatever. But over time, using the canon of that setting and everything, things kind of dialed down. But they're not. It's no longer being used, but it's there because it gives that implication of King Kong in your mind immediately. Just like in Isle of Dread,
Yeah.
You're sitting there in the village with the omen, and you look over, and there's this wall you got to go through and beyond, to the other side. It's unknown, So.
And you're not near civilization, so the PCs have to adapt and survive.
That's exactly right. And boy, I tell you, it's not. I had a guy. The last time I ran that adventure for a campaign was about 4 or 5 years. No, God, it's been longer than that now. I guess it's been closer to 6 or 7. I had just started working for the Trolls, and we were that campaign ended up being going back to CNC. But irregardless, there was a paladin who brought his mount with him and another riding horse on the ship, and everything was fine. They made it. Everything was short and everything. They had a little bit of a shipwreck, but they got everything off. But he intended on bringing that his war horse or whatever, his mount, and that other horse with him into the interior of the island. And as well as you could guess, it didn't last very long. And he kept trying to tame other animals to have himself a mount, and it never worked because, pterodactyls,
a brooch, but pterodactyl.
It's just funny though. Like you're saying, they have to adapt to something they're not used to, and that was the first time. Growing up, now it's different. You start playing D&D or whatever. There's all this stuff out there, but we were talking about earlier about before you hopped on about how things were so different growing up. You took what you could get, and this was the first adventure that took you away into the world, and it was just like
the adventure
unknown,
was the adventure is outside; it's not inside anything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're dealing with monsters that are like epic. They're not your everyday monster. So it was. I mean, I took my sisters to the Isle of Dread in the early 80s.
Really?
Yeah. And after they got a little bored of it, they said, we're going to settle this island. So they made plans for cutting it into thirds and founding little baronies. And I was, we went much beyond that, but it has a lot of fond memories because it's unmatched, I think, in its uniqueness.
I will not argue one bit with you. In fact, I'm curious about something. Why did you say number 2? What was number 1?
I said number 2 because I still feel like GDQ 1 through 7 is the module that kind of set us on this course that we've been on for 30 years of these large adventures with a connected storyline.
True.
Although,
yeah,
by comparison, GDQ 1 through 7 is a sandbox compared to modern adventures. I mean, now you're really scripted, and I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that that turn. I mean, I don't mind it sometimes, but I think we still need to have those sandbox adventures and let the PCs decide what to do. And what I love is that third party publishers are still doing it. So
yeah, well, in B2, B1, X1, there were settings as well as just adventures. They were setting material. We built everything from it. And it's what we were talking about earlier. You learned from that. I never thought about trying to do anything outside of a dungeon or caves or maybe even forest before X1 came along, and then it just blew my mind. I thought, oh my God. We could do Spanish Conquisition or whatever. We can do, the desert and stuff or whatever. You just start making your mind really overflow with things. Is what you can do with it.
Yeah, Jay, one of our favorites. I don't know if you brought it up already. It was B4, the Lost City.
No, we haven't even gotten. No,
okay.
No one's brought that one up yet.
I mean, most of my favorite modules were actually basic and expert modules.
I know, right?
Yeah, we got.
I'd shoehorn them into GREYHAWK if I had to, but for the most part, those were the ones we, were our bread and butter in those years.
Yeah, I got one that Curtis is going to bring up, and then I have one that Tim was 50-50 on getting on, Tim would bring up, but I'll bring it up for him. So the map, this is the Mike Bridges map showing, and look where it is. Here's the Isle of Dread, way down here.
Right.
Yeah,
so I placed.
Look at the size of that, though. Look at the size.
It's 300 miles north to south, I think.
Yeah.
It's a massive island. I mean, you could have almost any mystery there, and it wouldn't even.
Oh man, I put a Dracolich on it, man. I couldn't stand it.
Absolutely.
I put one on there. I've got one in the temple on there. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, the reason why it's there, Jay, is because that's exactly the cutoff on the page 18 glossography map. So this map,
so you don't see it. Yeah.
This map, you could crop it and you'd get that other map, and so there's no discussion on whether it's an addition or not because you can't see it in the original map.
Right.
Plus, it's far enough that it's not going to be an everyday voyage.
No, not at all.
No, it's a haul.
Yeah, it's in the it's slightly. I think it's right near the equator, maybe slightly in the southern hemisphere. So it's hot. I mean, it's.
Well,
you should
volcano,
enforce,
and all
exactly.
That,
You should enforce every environmental rule against your players. No plate mail. Sorry, guys.
No, man. Environment's great for that.
And
for sure.
Also, Gary, didn't you Far Shore's over here? Didn't you create Far Shore over here?
Yeah, that's the.
Oh, did you? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the furthest official.
Yeah, right there.
City of the setting, I think.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with creating that as a base of operations for the players.
Because that's a big location for people who do Savage Tide series.
It is, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, like a landlost area, that's it, great. And that's why I knew this would be like, for two people here, the most nostalgic out of all of them because.
Jay knows how much I love it.
Yeah,
I love this.
Huge.
You know what's sad though, Gary?
Yeah.
Is Jay is one of the greatest reps for AD&D. D&D, yet on his wall of honor, there's one adventure that is not there.
Isn't it shocking?
Burned my soul for many, many years.
Well, I got him back by doing an unofficial wall of honor.
We showed it, and here it comes back. There it is. I'm bringing it up.
It's awesome. You did such a good
job.
job.
Doom Grinder. Puppets,
wow.
Child's Play,
awesome.
Gargoyle.
I didn't know this. I hadn't seen this. I saw that when I first came on. Okay,
Holy crap, bugs! And then this one's that's Exhibition of Barrier Peaks.
It's so awesome. Yeah.
This is the other side of Jay's basement that we can't see.
Return to the Temple of the Mental Evil. So it's it's crazy. I think it's hysterical, and that's why I love it.
We need to get you a copy of X1, buddy. That's a shame.
I have multiple copies of it.
You need an excuse to get your players down there. Maybe a one shot.
Yeah, but is it a one shot? Is that do it justice?
Maybe not, but you give them a taste.
Right, and then they want to go back.
Yeah, gauge their reaction, see if they want to go back.
Bitter taste.
Right.
Yep.
How did mine make my wall, Greg? It's because they were pertinent to my campaign over the 44 years. So that's how all these made my, and we voted on them. An early Gavin, I think it's Gavin 10. We actually voted for the bottom row. We actually did. Yeah. What's that? What was
I
that,
was
Chuck?
just laughing at Michael Judrick. He said, "Boo that wall."
Yeah. Yeah. So this, well, Michael was.
Yeah, I'm really upset with you about that. The more I think about it,
I haven't run it. I don't put adventures I haven't run on my wall. That
And
didn't make it change in the campaign. These are
you
ones
trying
that.
to tell me you've never ran the greatest adventure of all time? That's a shame.
No, I haven't. I haven't. I even have Ravenloft and Ravenloft 2 up here.
I know. I understand Ravenloft. I totally get it. Two,
Yeah.
I'm just a little surprised that you would have that over.
Two is because it was the most difficult published adventure ever to run.
It is hard to run that. It
with
is.
all the
In fact, I
technical
ended up
cards.
just pulling it into Ravenloft.
Oh,
I didn't
all right.
even pull all that stuff.
Trivia question. What is special about Ravenloft 2 in regards to our campaign setting?
Oh, it's the debut of GREYHAWK's famous Lich.
Yes, it's the first time Azalin appears anywhere.
Really?
He's just a little side
Okay.
blurb in there.
Yeah.
He get changed out for one of the townsfolk. Yeah. Yep.
I don't even remember it being mentioned. Of course, like I said, I just pulled. We didn't even actually.
Oh yeah, Greg, that was his big
into
joke.
Ravenloft.
Gary made that for me, Greg, and it surprised me with it a couple years back. Oh yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. This is the real one. I got 3 non-part. I got Harbinger of Darkness. I got Fortress Elendar, and I got Janelle Jackway's Dark Tower, which I think is which that's a top 30 of all time too.
So
that's a great one.
two future shows, Jay.
Yep.
One is maybe a show about your wall and how they became important.
Yeah.
And then the second show is let's do a show on the top 30 and where people disagree.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
So
and talk about why X1 isn't on his wall. We could spend like 3 hours.
Eric Mona owes me a show because he couldn't make tonight or Sunday, so he owes me one. So I'll do it when Eric's available, Gary, and we'll get you on, and then maybe maybe one or two of the other people who were part of that.
Oh, I think Eric Boyd was a judge.
Oh yeah, there you go. We can get Eric pretty easily too.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's up,
and
Soros?
Ed Greenwood. Ed Greenwood was a judge.
No, Ed would do that in a second. I know he would.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I want to know the shenanigans that got some of those modules in that list.
Yeah,
right.
I'm sorry, I have to do this because
you got some good ones on there. I'm running my guys
like this one
Caverns right now.
This one does not deserve to be in the top 30. I'm sorry. There you go. I said my piece. It doesn't deserve to be in the top 30. Even Gary.
That was a marketing thing.
Yeah, well, it was a Cook thing. It was Zeb Cook. But didn't Zeb Cook have Dead Gods, which I hear is fantastic for Planescape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
not Zeb Cook. Monty Cook. Yeah, Dead Gods was like one of the best ones ever. So, yeah.
I mean, Gates of Firestorm Peak. Cool. Gates of Firestorm Peak are one of the best of the latter era. I can't think of a module I'd put there since the late 90s. I don't know. So I'd have to think about it.
Rob's cracking me up.
Phantom, still trying to figure out how it's on your wall. That's the fake Gary wall. So yeah,
fake Gary wall.
Yeah, and look, there's an entire Flannis history here too for it.
Oh yeah, there's that whole book that you did, Gary's got some killer stuff, and you even go over the tribes and stuff in there, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, I thought about like doing a full conversion. With a lot of backstory.
I won't lie. I'm using a lot of it as inspiration. I won't lie.
Stealing is the best compliment.
That's it. That's it. So there you go.
I have to be careful, but
we all stand on the shoulders of the past.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
And it's no slight for not being on my wall. Just I never ran it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we know it'll make it there eventually. Eventually you'll put it on. Yeah.
Yeah, what am I? I'll have to take something down.
It's one of those strange things. It's like, I know some people decry some of Cook's stuff, especially some of his GREYHAWK stuff, but he's done some wonderful stuff for the adventure.
Absolutely.
For the game.
Absolutely.
So don't forget that.
And the whole Copra thing is crazy. If you think you can really go down a rabbit hole with that thing too,
Yeah.
And we're talking about, you could actually mesh in. If you want to go deep enough, we could pull out some alien if you want to. We could bring in the engineers and go down that whole road.
You could go down a Lovecraft direction.
Yes, absolutely. Do the old ones. It'd be killer, There's somebody, when I was running that online, somebody, bless Reddit for this, you can always find great VTT maps on there. And someone did all the maps for Osred for VTT in color and real realistic. And I used those and they were just great. They were fantastic to use. They were really good. But yeah.
Moose.
I've wanted to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll say Moose in the chat. That's a great idea. I could set up some software for fans and members of Jay's audience to do a vote on the top 30 themselves, and we could compare the perspective 20 years later to 20
So
years ago.
I think that's a great idea.
Right.
So let's. There's the Campfire
Good.
Discord. Join that up, and then they'll set it up, and maybe everyone throws in their top 10, and you rank
Yeah,
it
I'll
points
look for some
wise.
software that
Yeah,
would let us
yeah.
automate
I
it.
think that's a great idea.
That's smart. That'd be killer to do.
yeah.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Because there's some adventures beyond published modules too that are in Dragon Magazine or Dungeon.
I would love
Oh,
to hear
my
all the
God.
third-party stuff, the Troll Lord stuff, everything that's been published by third parties, because that's a huge world of amazing
It's
stuff.
huge.
And not
It's
only
really
that,
the world.
Go ahead, Les.
but I was going to mention,
Yep.
earlier when we were talking, I was going to throw out there also when we were talking about survival in nature and wilderness as a kind of adventure, right?
Mhm.
You see that developed a lot in some of the UK adventures as well, which is one of the things that I kind of dug about them. There's a specific, we were talking about nostalgia. There's a specific kind of, this is going to sound like I have synesthesia or something, or like I'm tripping or something. But
No.
there's a certain flavor or texture that the prose in the UK modules has, right? And you find it also in some of the adventures that were run in Imagine magazine, TSR UK's publication, and in some of the adventures you found in White Dwarf as well.
Yeah.
I noticed you had
Tease and
what was it,
Thane.
Mirrors of Tizenthane, and The Lich Way by the same guy, Albert Fiore.
Yeah.
How would you characterize it, Les? The difference?
There was something I was listening to earlier today where I had heard that it might have been Davis, might have been someone else from Games Workshop who was talking about their early work on Warhammer. And they described it not as grimdark, mind you, but they described it as gritty fantasy.
Absolutely.
And
yeah,
there's a bit of that texture in there. There's a kind of how can I put it? Putting you at the mercy of the elements as well, and then having, you accidentally discover a rock's nest or something like that. These are perfectly sane and normal kind of nature encounters in a fantasy world that could also be incredibly dangerous to low level or even mid level characters, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of appreciated that. It's almost like you could take, it's like, I don't know how to describe it except for it has that feel where there's a kind of dark undercurrent of humor. I mean, one of the things I loved, I remember when we played through it, one of the things I love in Saltmarsh is the assassin who wouldn't know thieves can't, right? If that memory serves. So that one of the ways to flush them out is if you happen to know a language, ... Little things like that I love that kind of expanded my taste for what adventure modules can do. I mean, God, speaking of Graham Davis,
or it's Graham Davis and Graham Morris. I always get them confused.
Yeah, I know, but I was thinking Morris. But with God, Beyond the Crystal Cave or whatever, the UK one, I'm like, I love that adventure, but that adventure is going to throw your most parties for a loop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Yes.
one day equals a year.
One day equals a year, and combat is definitely at the bottom of how you want to resolve a lot of the situations.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But that was a one that you really had to think through, and if you had a non-thinking party, you're gonna. And it could also be a campaign breaker. So if they're in there for, you know what I mean. So you got to take that into consideration when.
But I'm saying that one of the things I love is that they were willing to. How can I put it? They were willing to take the chance on those kinds of things, knowing I think that might put some players off, right, or DMs off. And I think that's kind of cool. It was kind of cool to see TSR stretching itself instead of just dishing out more of the same.
Yeah.
So because I love the variety that you had in those years, right? You had the Gygax and Kuntz stuff. You had Lens Adventures. You had the whole basic and expert stuff, and then the Beckme stuff after that. You had you just had such a great variety of adventures and styles.
And here's let me bring this one up too, because I don't think Tim will be coming on, so I want to share his. This is before there's a Free City GREYHAWK box set. This is Zeb Cook. Oh crap! Sorry. There you go. Yep, I did it. Woohoo! and that's the Veiled Society. And there's 3 different factions, right? This was a great little adventure. Tim ran this for me back in the day, and
Oh, really?
yeah,
I
oh yeah,
remember it.
absolutely, because you had not 1 but 2 but 3 different factions going at each other. And it was basic. It was only levels 1 to 3, but he made it really challenging. So that was one that I know he'd be nostalgic about. So
Came with some
yeah.
of the 3D buildings, didn't it?
I think
this
you're
one I
right
think
about that. Yeah, the isometric stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Brungel, I showed your stuff. Thank you so very much. You're
Hey, Chris.
wow.
But yeah, I think it had that. I think you're right. Didn't it have one of those things in there? You pull it out and it has like the 3D stuff in it. I think he's right about that.
Yeah, it was cool. And this was early
Yeah.
80s. I think it was 84.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was
here
that
we
was
go.
back in the old days of still experimenting with everything, you know.
The characters.
Oh,
on
look
the
at that. Ever
characters
mysterious
on the
Tim is
cover.
hopping on.
Oh, well, you summoned him with showing the Veiled Society. Clearly.
What's
That's
up?
Curtis
Yeah.
at the same time.
Tim, I was just talking about the Veiled Society when you were DMing that for, I think I had Gazumba in that one.
Well, what do you think summoned me forth?
Right? That's exactly what I
What's
told
up,
you.
Curtis?
Hey,
Who's
Curtis.
that guy that snuck in there?
So,
It's all these years of government training.
thank you, Jeremy. Thank you very much for that. I'm getting better every day. It's going to take some time, but I know I could do these talk shows. I'm going a little stir crazy. I'm getting updated on. I hadn't updated my Legends of Lore log in like 5 months. I had to enter in like 35 shows, so I got a lot of stuff done today. But it's still going away. So but I don't want. I knew I could do this. Tim, all right. So Veiled Society. Radu, Cartha Radu.
That probably was the start of the urban adventuring sort of
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
that I caught.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was the seed that eventually became the arch villain in the city state campaign.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Tim is very good at not letting the bad guy get killed in the first adventure. Yes.
As you should be.
Yeah, well, it's a lesson learned. Like I said, there's 2. Mine's Lareth the Beautiful and Drelsner, the 2 I wouldn't have killed right away if I could go back again and do it again.
I've let poor Lareth die too many times.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Every time he gets killed in that.
He gets the shaft for sure.
Well, he's tucked up in an area he can't escape from. That's the bad thing.
I know he's trapped down there. Exactly.
He's not very smart. If you look at his stats, he's not very smart.
And Tim, what are you thinking of this Tease and Thane? I know it's one of your favorites too from White Dwarf.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
And
I've never played it in it, but I know of it.
It says 6 to 12 PCs. I'm going to tell you why. Andrew Scott Perry said when we're going to do his Barrier Peaks adventure, I need to bring myself and 7 people in the community, 8 players, because there ain't no way everyone's surviving. So I think that was why they wanted to do 6 to 12 player characters here.
If you have players that are obtuse and just don't pay attention and just want to kind of bug about, they're going to die, especially when that nighttime comes, the moonlight comes out, and the shadow dancers, which are these animated statues / abyssal things, start moving. They have like a -6 armor class or -4, but they're 1st or 2nd level. So
yeah, you got the crit to hit them.
Yeah, so they're not, and they don't do tons of damage, but
it don't matter. They'll wear you down, right?
Yeah, if they're not smart and they realize, hey, everyone seems to lock all their doors and hole up at night. If they're not paying attention, they're not going to do it. It'll be a quick one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I like
my
that.
drift, or am I being obtuse? Give me another month to think about it.
When Tim says obtuse, I always think about the warden at Shawshank.
Yeah. Tim has his keywords here. All right, Curtis, welcome in as well. Let's go to yours, I think, because you actually have kind of taken it to another level, right?
I was thinking about this in the rainy commute home. It dawned on me, because I talked to you about this before, Jay, that I did not start playing D&D in role-playing games. I started playing Champions.
Right.
And that was in about 83. I didn't play D&D till 85. And the first module, I was thinking about this, the first module I ever played was White Plume Mountain, and the group from my buddies in high school had Horror on the Hill or White Plume Mountain. I thought about this on the drive, and we went with White Plume Mountain. And I always wanted Horror on the Hill. I always wanted to play it. Never played it. Ended up as as some of us are wont to do, started to purchase and reestablish our libraries in later stages of life. And I got a copy of Horror on the Hill. Never ran it, never played it. Cracked it open about 3 years ago as I started getting involved in GaryCon. Well, first of all, too, us coming back to GREYHAWK circa since about 89. This is all one big, in my parlance, nostalgia operation.
Yep.
We're going back to the stuff we did in the 80s. So that's when my friend Brett and I started getting re-involved in GREYHAWK. I opened this up and read it, and I'm like, oh, I can completely adapt this for GREYHAWK. So, and I am a player. I am not a DM. I run champions, but I've never really DM'd D&D until a couple years ago. The Horror on the Hill, I love this module. I've always wanted to play it. I've always wanted to run it. And the monastery in there, I adapted and put together a pre and post storyline, bookended it with just GREYHAWK lore that I made up. Took the map, took some things and that were involved in it, and actually even created a storyline like you've talked about, Jay, about a historical game.
Yeah.
Instead of 576, set it in like the 450s. That someday I'll run as well. And ran the monastery as an old monastery of Encabulus up in the Jotun Mountains. And just took it, used it, and play tested a couple times and ran it at GaryCon a couple years ago. And I've ran it twice, 2 or 3 times ever since. So
I
loved it. It was great. And it was funny story too, because Brett and I were in a game with Doug Niles 2 years ago. And
wow, cool.
Doug's the nicest guy. And afterwards I had it and I said, oh, Mr. Niles, I actually ran and adapted some of this of your classic here at GaryCon. It was like the day before. And he took the module and goes, oh, Horror on the Hill. And he kind of flipped through it and he's like, would you mind signing it for me? So he signs it and then he says, I don't really remember much about this.
Really?
It was like what? It was a piece of work. It was a job. It was
right. Wow.
It was like this.
If I remember right, he did a lot of Dragonlance too, right? So
he did a lot of things.
Yeah.
He
did a lot of Forgotten Realms too.
One of the ones I have not had on yet that I need.
That's
to
interesting.
Get on. I need to get Doug on at some point.
That'd be great, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Jay, I might have a hook for you, but I'll know at GaryCon and I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay, sounds good.
So
awesome.
It may take me a couple months if you don't do it in between. Oh, and Chuck, real quick,
thanks for all.
One piece of business.
Hey,
let me resend you an email. I need to talk to you too.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All good stuff.
If you've sent me one, I haven't been in. I've had COVID for the last 2 weeks. I've been messed up. So
I'll resend
send me one. Send it again.
Thank you, dude.
Well, hey, can you talk to me too? I mean, what the heck?
Tim, you want to come? You want to come to GaryCon?
He's going to Page.
He needs to go.
He's
Yeah.
DMing at Page. That's
go.
a big step for Tim.
Yeah, baby steps.
That's a big step for Tim. Him
Are
coming.
you going to run a game at Page?
Yeah, he's got a game.
I'll try and get in it. That would be
I think
fun.
it's full.
I don't care.
I think I had 2 seats left. I don't know about now.
I'll just saunter up. Hey,
Yes.
there's a candy bar.
Just remember,
Horror on the Hill
starring...
also. I was going to say, Jay, you know whose favorite B5 is also the favorite of?
Todd Stashwick. No, I have not.
Not your good friend. Josh.
Oh, Josh Pop.
Pop?
Yeah,
Really?
I haven't seen him around today. So
in your convalescence, I'm giving
Interesting.
you the opportunity to say your favorite line. Now that I've mentioned Josh and GaryCon, so I'm giving this to you as a volley. I'm putting this up for you, Jay, as your friend and conciliary.
Because I'm in a lot of pain. My brain isn't thinking straight. Plus, I am. We almost have 100 people on, and I want to say thank you all for coming on. With me recovering.
Sure.
So I don't want to disparage anyone.
Oh, you are under some sort of
He is. There's something wrong
dosage,
with him
aren't
for
you?
sure. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, I'll say it for you, Jay. All of us minions of Josh at GaryCon.
so Vamp Wickman told me he's going to GaryCon, but he's not a minion this year. He's on his own. Is that true?
Half of that story is true from what I understand. He is
Half of
going,
it.
but
Okay.
I'll wait to see what happens when he's on the ground.
Very
no
cool.
kidding.
So, all right. Why don't we do a rapid fire shoot? Anyone up there bring up something that was nostalgic for you, and I'll just sit back and listen here. So, you got your first snow today in this guy got his first snow in Sweden there, Anna.
Yeah,
Nice.
I talked to my mother. She had first snow too.
Very
Yep.
cool. Very cool. And if you don't, I have plenty still.
Yep. Good to hear.
All right, since no one's saying anything, let's just go. Let's just. Someone got one.
I'll jump.
Go ahead. Go for it, Les.
I was going to say one of the other things that kind of makes me nostalgic looking back on that stuff is how we were talking about the kind of way you make up a toolbox for yourself by going through some of these adventures, like going through halls of Chisholm Thane, right? We were talking about that earlier. Yep. That's like a riff on Robert E. Howard's Cull story, right? The Mirrors of Turin thing.
Oh, okay.
It's Fiore's kind of homage to that. It has some creepy stuff with mirrors in the short story as well.
Right. Yeah, there's gates, there are mirrors, yeah.
Yep. And so that's what he's riffing on in that. And it was kind of neat to see that, or in Beyond the Crystal Caves, the whole way that it took elements of Romeo and Juliet and Midsummer Night's Dream and did its own kind of mashup and then worked in the Green Man lore. It was great to see, if you see what I'm saying, that hey, they're lifting shit from other stories too, and from other media too.
Yeah.
And I can do the same. And here's how to do it in such a way that it's uniquely my own, right? I'm not just retelling Die Hard in a Wizard Tower. It's Die Hard in the Wizard Tower the way that I would retell it. Kind of idea. So yeah, that was one of the other things that made me particularly kind of warm and fuzzy looking over all this stuff, is that it was that age when everything was open and a possibility, or it seems that way, and you have all this kind of exposure, and you have all these influences pouring into you: films, comic books, music, other adventure modules, pulp stuff that I'm reading, and classics that I'm reading, and I'm like, hey, I can lift this element, right, and throw it in here, but I'll file this off and give it this, right? So that was fun. That was always cool too. I always loved the idea of crossovers with Gamma World and Boot Hill for the same reason, I think.
Yeah, and I tried. What night was it? I guess it was Sunday. We tried explaining why I have smoke powder in my campaign. It's because priests of Merlin at 10th level can utilize it, right? And firearms aren't any big deal because they really don't do that much damage. But that's the one exception to the rule, and I know a lot of people aren't thrilled with that. But it's so rare.
I like pack cannons and pirates. So it's a struggle though. Where does the technology stop? And you go back to.
All right, so here's two super nostalgic ones. What order do you run them in? Right, Curtis? Because and 3D.
Oh.
All right. Yeah.
Oh. My favorites.
Yeah, mine too.
I'm running that. Yeah,
my
I'm running that
absolute
right
favorites.
now. Actually.
Which one?
Oh, yeah.
You run Showcat now?
I'm running it right now for the guys. They don't know what it's called. They just found their way into a cavern.
Go ahead, Curtis. Tell the story of this during Founders and Legends.
Okay, so playing my dark alter ego Fritz Winchester, and we're at the end, and it was like the fruit from the trees that are color coordinated with different character classes.
Yeah, and then you get a point off that. Yeah, for your main stat.
Right.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is, in the end, it gets down to Fritz. And my friend Brett is playing, I think he's playing Erebus.
Yeah.
And Erebus, he and I have this relationship. We're not going to out punk each other. So he's goading me into something that is really a death wish. So I pick once, get it correct. But the second time, if I pick again, it's wisdom check -4. Fritz's wisdom is 7.
7.
So I'd have to
Yeah.
roll a 3 or under on a d20.
Yeah, because Fritz doesn't. Fritz is going to go. Wow, I got it. I feel more dexterous now. I'm getting something else. So I said you need to make a wisdom roll at -4 to not feel that urge. Because right, Tim, it's reverse. It's reverse than system shock, or you're poofed. And what'd you roll?
So I'm like, well, all right, you're not going to punk me. Fritz is going to come out on top and smell like a rose as usual. So I
Right.
roll, open on the table, roll the d20, rolled a 1 for the save.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Fritz just went over the top with dancing and doing suggestive moves. And the entire, there's like the whole table's like, oh my God. Jay can't believe it.
Yeah, it
And
was awesome.
Yes. It was like that Ace Ventura. Yes. 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 Brett won't even
That's
look
awesome.
at me. He's sitting next to me. He's like, "Oh, you're such a jackass." But I did it. And
That's
Fritz
classic,
did
man.
it. Oh my God, it was hilarious. And it will never be undone. I think that was Fritz's moment. I tried to negotiate a statue of Fritz for that in Altamira. The
course.
negotiations are still ongoing.
Oh,
So
Fritz is
we'll
the
make it happen.
perfect. Fritz is the perfect incarnation of it's better to be lucky than good.
friggin' lucky. It's
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And we'll get
It
to
was
see.
great. It was such a stupid move to make, but I came out.
We're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have
In the end, well.
Emerson and Elazira and Fritz at our first game Thursday morning for at Gary Con. Yeah. So there's Rob.
I've
Rob's in this picture.
been exploring characters that make
Curtis,
bad
Brett,
decisions.
Todd Stashwick. What's that? Yep.
I've been exploring with characters that make bad decisions by plan, and they're really a lot of fun.
It is so stupid. It's like, what are you doing? But it makes for great memories especially when they work out for the character. Because
Yeah.
Jay was like, I can't believe you're doing this. Brett's like, you're an idiot. And I ended up rolling the save.
We have a nostalgic moment now that we just ran at Founders and Legends. I ran Thousand 3 full days, got through it, and now we got a story to tell from all time. So just like I have a story with Tim, Gazumba walks down steps. There's a guy lying out on a stone slab, and there's a zombie on either side, and they've whipped the guy's feet off. So I have all these memories ingrained in my head from Tim stuff. So yes.
It was a good game though. Over the 3 days, it was
fun, and the big battles at the beginning.
Gary, I give Gary credit. Didn't he suggest Thurston for you?
Yep. So Gary told me I was going to do Baltron's Beacon, and Gary said, "Why don't you run one that Gary wrote?" Gary Gygax wrote, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." So yep, absolutely. And that's why I went with Thurston.
Though I love Baltron's Beacon, I have a lot of memories
Oh
of that one.
God,
yeah, that's a great.
I love running that with I usually run that with I do a mashup with that. I love Baldur's Beacon is just it's absolutely wonderful, especially
very underrated.
Yeah, it is, because it's just a classic dungeon crawl in a swamp, and you've got that little place, but there's so much to it.
But it has
last time we played it, there was up top the green light that's at the top that reincarnates you. That's where we left out the last time we played those guys. And one of the guys hopped in and he never found out that he was reincarnated. He was a dwarf fighter and he came out an elf wizard or something. I redid the class and everything, but they never found out.
It has so many jumping off points for expansion. What I loved was the early introduction of the rival party, the rival evil party.
Oh, the guy, the fighter on the Gyno Sphinx.
The Dark Ranger was really cool. The whole idea that they had competition drove my players crazy.
That's funny. I usually run it with what is it? Tomb of Lizard King. I put that in the sort of the same area.
Well, they're close.
Yeah. So
both of those were stolen for GREYHAWK.
Classic adventures. Classic.
Yeah. So David, I'm trying to type this in, but I'm messing all this up. So I'm just gonna put. So Tim was away on military service, and sometimes I wouldn't see him in person for 2 years. But because of the way my campaign's set up, it was no big deal to get his characters back in the game. So, and I've even brought back one I felt bad for. The witch took him out with
that covers fantastic. He was talking about Shadow was talking about. So, where they're stepping down in the water. That's just terrifying.
Good ones. All right. So what else we got here? We got about half hour left here.
Does anybody have any not obvious popular ones as their favorites?
Well, I'll say. Let me see. I don't think I have it on here.
You're gonna say puppets, aren't you?
PDF.
Yeah, you are. You're gonna say puppets.
I don't have this as a PDF, so I can't go through it. But I have it only as a. No, Advanced Adventures. No, I don't have it. And that's Dark Tower is awesome, right, Tim?
Mhm.
It's good.
Yes.
In fact, Tim's the one.
Dark Tower will leave a mark on you.
Yeah, and Tim introduced me to it. Gazumba, my character's Gazumba and Hawk played through it. Yeah, and it is really, it's probably the best Judges Guild, in my opinion, the best Judges Guild game made.
Yeah, I'd say
is.
that and Kevin's of Thracia are both up
Thracia
there
is
for
really
me.
good too. Thracia is so big. I've never run Thracia. I was going to use Thracia for going through what do you call it, the pass, right? Oh my god, my brain's off.
Yeah, I think Dark Tower beats Thracia big time.
You have
Really?
both.
Yeah.
You have originals on both.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
Dark Tower, right at the beginning, it's gonna get ugly. Like right at the beginning, you got to go down 8 dungeon levels to go back up 8 dungeon levels.
Right.
And that
There's
is
2 towers buried, and the entrances are at the bottom.
Bottom,
You
yep.
got to go down the dungeons to be able to go up the tower.
Up the towers, yep.
Yeah, really.
And
Yeah,
there's
I think
the
both-
levels crisscross. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you can get lost in there too pretty easily as well
Have you,
in that
have
adventure.
you- is any of y'all familiar with the Beacon of Inventor? That's an old adventure that was around.
Ooh, no.
Nope.
What
I
system?
ran it with it's AD&D. I ran it with or did used to run it with Towers and Opus, sort of in the same area. So
Is
there's
it-
another
is it
way to
Forgotten
get
Realms
into
adventure?
No. It would be. I'm not sure what the setting is. I would assume it's probably great. It's pretty old. Came out like an 80s.
Enoch
It
Tour.
was in Dragon, I think. I think it was in Dragon. Enoch
Oh, it was
Tour.
in a dragon. Okay.
I think it was an old adventure. But anyway, I've got a lot of good memories of it because that was how I would introduce them to the Towers and Opus without going the standard way into the tower, right? But anyway,
No,
no one.
I'd love to. If someone has a reference link to it, I'd love to check it out because
I'll send you a copy of it. I got it.
Citadel by the
Good.
Sea. There's a lot of great ones that were in Dragon, Fed Fensor.
Are we talking about nostalgia that including Judges Guild?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
I was gonna say.
Tegel Manors.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
A lot of people have said that in chat. Yeah.
That was
That's
a
a good
major campaign in college when I ran in college.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah,
And I still remember God, which one was it? I remember picking up both the City State of the Invincible Overlord,
World Emperor,
and World Emperor, and I remember thumbing through the books, and there was this one bit, and it sticks with me to this day, about this loan shark, who, if the adventurers try to break into his house, that's when they discover that the way he collects and the reason they can't find any bodies is that he has a demon bound to him.
Imagine.
And just the idea, I'm like, however old I am, 9 or 10, and I'm like, using demons for collections. Now this is, you can imagine a whole lunch money racket being run that way, right? But or at least I could. But anyway, that being out of my grasp, alas, I settled on introducing that into my like game when I was like 11 or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great stuff. The players didn't know what the hell to make of it. It's like,
I got World Emperor. I got World Emperor before Invincible Overlord, and World Emperor. You had all the locations weren't written onto the map, and the map was huge. I'm like, this is ridiculous, man. It's going to take me 5 years to do this. And then Invincible Overlord was not that way. So yeah.
There's just, they had so many nice little nuggets in them. Almost all the supplementary, the Wilderland stuff had such great ideas, and just little things on hex crawls you could lift. And again, it's just it's weird because again, it's an association. I have that texture, that smell, where it's basically like really cheap newsprint or something, and it's like somebody typed and photocopied it almost at times. The quality, I mean, but that was just the superficial quality, right? Yeah. The actual quality of some of those products was actually pretty high.
Yeah.
Tegel Manor and those Jaquay ones, spectacular stuff.
And very compact.
Yes.
Okay. Gary, what's your second favorite?
That's tough because that's like choosing between your children,
Another one that you,
so many good.
you may have played way back in the day that you just liked.
I mean, we really liked the Lost City B4.
Right, you said that. Yep, let me get that.
Yeah, I mean, it also had.
It's good.
It was kind of a reverse pyramid. You entered the pyramid from the top, and then every level got bigger and bigger and bigger as you went down.
Yep.
And there was also multiple factions in there. I think a lawful and a chaotic faction, or sort of religious factions, and
Yes.
and then we barely scratched the surface of this, but apparently underneath there was an entire city of the Synodicians that you could have expanded the campaign with, and we just barely got started with that, but it was amazing. I think you could have turned that into an entire campaign.
And it's so strange that these are all 1 to 3s because like no one ever levels up, I guess, in the B series, right? It's like because then they go, oh, we got to get beyond that after Holmes, and they finally did that with the expert and everything else. But like, yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that's amazing about the Isle of Dread is it was bundled. So B2 and X1 have a special place, I think, in D&D lore because they were exposed to millions of people.
Yeah, true.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good one. Open for anyone. Tell us another one you may love or that you have a nostalgic moment.
B1.
Yeah.
Search of
Caverns of Quasquatan. I had the one we came with the original set. They had my dad's notes in it, and he had added all sorts of teleport traps and other stuff in there, and I ended up running it for my grandmother.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
How did that go?
And that was fun.
Mike Carr, who's still around. Yeah, 79. Yeah, Search of the Unknown.
She was very unconventional.
Well, yeah, because she's not coming from.
I'm amazed you played with family. I never played with parents or stuff like that. So yeah.
And then one for a year, and I ran B4 for a year. Not my original campaigns. All right, here's one. It's not on my wall of fame, but and it's third party. Let me see if I can bring this up. And Bill mentioned it.
There
Bill
you go.
Crafter mentioned it. Which one is that?
I was just thinking about something. I'll tell you a quick story real quick about mine real quick. I'm gonna have to run here in a minute. I'm losing my voice. But I dare mention it. It's B3, Palace of the Silver Princess. We got that. I got that adventure when it came out. I think originally it was orange, if I remember right. But
no, if you have an orange one of that, it's worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I don't think I do. But anyway, I think it was orange, right? Yeah. But anyway, all I remember is we got that adventure and we ran it once or whatever, and I didn't think much about it. And then a few years later, my mom, who was trying to learn more about what was going on because all the satanic panic stuff was going on, she wasn't really against all that. Like we were kind of like the house where people gathered that were other parents wouldn't let you. And one of the parents read an article about Palace being too sexualized or something like that. And she freaked out and come down and talked to us about it. And we showed her the pictures. It's not bad or whatever, you know. But I was just a strange, weird thing that happened with that adventure. I've only played it maybe once or twice, but
is that the one that had the naughty cover that they switched out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She was all about that. You don't have that. And I was like, no.
Yeah, my mom did not like the cover of GDQ 1 through 7.
Oh, really?
She was like, "What's going on with this book?"
That's funny.
There's some pretty explicit loft pictures in Q1 too. I mean, she's barely clothed, doing stuff to people.
Strange is mom got me that's how I got into DM, and she got me when the DM's guide came out, and she never said a word about that cover.
Huh?
Not a word. I mean,
Yep.
The Ifriti.
Yeah, with a naked chick or whatever. It's like she never said a word about that. Nothing. And then I don't know. It was just strange. That kind of flew over the radar. She was trying to make me happy at the time. So.
The nuns at my Catholic school did not like the original DMG cover, or is it the player's cover? You know, the one with the little demonic Ifriti on it.
That's the DMG.
That's the DM's guide. Yeah.
I never liked the art of it. I didn't really care for it. I'm like, we could have done better than that. The player's player's handbook, I loved.
Player's handbook was really good.
And then there's the Monsters manual.
That's good. That's like a cartoon.
It's classic. That was great. It was great. Good stuff though. It's just funny how those kind of things influence us growing up too. The stuff like that. You know, I just sit there thinking about old models. I remember her getting upset about that word we were playing some sort of sex adventure or something. I was like, Mom, no, you know. And then what I guess she must have someone had told her about it or something. They were having these meetings or something about stuff. It was really weird where I lived in then. So we were like the place to go hang out. My house was because Mom was cool. She cooked food for us, you know. There was no
See,
hating
that's
or
cool,
whatever going
Saint.
on.
That's cool.
Yeah, I had friends. They're
Hey, Jeff.
losing their books, were getting thrown away. People were breaking their records and all
Yeah,
kinds of mess.
my mother was really indifferent to all that stuff. So
Yeah,
fortunately,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we wouldn't be talking right now, right?
You know,
Good on
a
Mom.
series that nobody's brought up, and I just wonder if they're not very good. Is anybody a fan of the Dragonlance modules?
I talked about this Sunday night,
Some of them, yeah.
Gary.
Yeah.
How I did DL. We went through a portal to assist over there. DL 1, 2, and 3. I got to the point where I couldn't do it.
And we begged to go back.
Yeah, they begged to go back.
They begged to go back. Can we leave, please?
Yeah, and I'm
That's
like,
funny.
you know what? Okay. And that's when Mark's character Swain brought Lorana to our world, and so and the rest is history.
And the love story and tragedy spun off.
Absolutely, because I am all about a good tragedy. So my mom burned my Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Indicus. Wow.
Oh man, it happened, man. It really did.
That's
It really
crazy.
did.
Yeah. Oh man.
My buddy of mine lost all of his. He lost a bunch of records and books and everything. She's burning books, not just gaming books, but like novels and stuff. Everything. He went crazy about this stuff.
Wow.
It was a crazy time, but memories.
Anyone else have
I think
another one for nostalgia? I just brought this up, and Bill brought this up. Tim, I don't think you ran in this one at all. Durbanford. A couple of years ago, I ran this one. It's Sword and Sorcery 3rd Edition came out. Necromancer Games. It's long, but it was really good and had a lot of subplots in it. And I was able to convert back to my 1E2. Really, really good in this one.
Yeah.
When a Star Falls.
Yeah, that one's actually in the
yeah.
Pomars. Yeah, you like. I know you like that one.
Oh, I like that a lot.
UK 5, right? No, is that UK 5?
That's a UK one. Yeah.
It's UK 5 or 6.
It's
Yeah,
UK.
It's a UK, but
I
don't
think
remember.
it's
6, 7. I forget which one that is. UK.
pretty early, I think.
Nah.
I think it's before the
All that
Gauntlet.
glitters is 6.
I think it's
UK
before the
2?
Gauntlet.
That's the Sentinel.
No, Gauntlet was 4, wasn't it? Wasn't Gauntlet 4?
It's before that.
No,
It's
Sentinel
before that
Gauntlet are
one.
2 and 3.
But the Sentinel and the Gauntlet, it's before that.
It can't be because UK 1 is Beyond the Crystal Cave. It's right after.
Oh.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I found it.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
UK 4.
UK 4.
Another Graham Morris one.
Yeah.
Graham Morris wrote some really good ones.
I know. We got to really find out about him.
Yeah.
I've
run that in different campaigns several times. Some different results, different methods of making their way. And of course, this is where my daughter playing her Pixie Thief scored her nickname in a fight. She sneaks past the bad guys, steals what they're looking for, and takes a dump in their treasure chest, earning her nickname Pocket Stinkle.
Yes.
Oh my
That's her
word.
thing. You've been stinkled. So yeah.
I have respect for that.
Yeah. Anything goes.
So they were furious when they found that.
When A Star Falls is a Spelljammer adventure, changed my mind. It's It's way too close to where I game because it's in the Pomar for me to even consider that being that there. So yep.
Well, and if it's a Spelljammer, it wouldn't fall.
That's true.
It would float.
They all float.
We all float down here, Jay.
Yes, exactly.
Two quick things. One, I just thought of out of the blue was I think it's I have it on my shelf. It's in the N series. Was a Treasure Hunt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the boat, right?
Yeah, and I thought what was interesting about that was I remember at the time that was the first time we ever played as it's designed to play 0 level. Like it was an intro. Develop your It was kind of a cool because it was we were playing it was late 80s, so whatever our characters were, it was Brett threw that at us as a kind of a change of pace one night. But for me it's as much the modules. It's Alston did it, I think. Aaron Alston, because Aaron Alston
adventure.
also he wrote a bunch of champion stuff too.
It could
Aaron
be
Alston
that.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh, cool.
Yeah. But as much as the modules was the locations we played, and in one particular one, because Chuck's met Brett too, it was especially for us in high school, a lot of it was in Brett's garage. And he had a layout where his parents didn't bother us.
Right.
We were out there. God knows how many hours we were there until whatever time in the morning. It was about a 10-minute walk there and back to the 7-Eleven, which is just like, all right, there's nothing more we needed because we were getting super big gulps at 2 a.m. for breaks, that kind of stuff.
For us, it was Wawa's.
Awesome.
Oh, it's just, isn't it? Is it Wawa's?
Wawa's
Yeah,
for
I've been
us,
to those. They have actually good sandwiches there too.
Meatball sandwiches at 2 a.m. after a
Yes.
Oh,
session.
Yeah, they have
Way
good
back in
sandwiches
the
there.
day. Yeah, way back in the day.
Went there when I was on the East Coast, but there was always that one guy in the group that wasn't a huge D&D player who also would just start to falter about 1:30, 2, and they just start to nod off. It was right when shit was really getting really good until somebody said experience, and they go, experience?
Yeah.
Or
right.
levels? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I always remember was the layout in Brett's garage. Probably circa 86 to about 88, 89.
Lots of maps on the wall. We had all those Forgotten Realms maps taped up everywhere. We never thought about keeping our shit and protecting it for value.
No,
no,
never.
Duct tape. Put that shit up, you know.
Because he would do what we do. One of my favorite just memories is before the burgers, the pizza, the Cokes, whatever it was, got to the table. It was when it was relatively clean. The Darlene map went on the table, and we all peered over and go, "Okay, we're starting here, and this is what this was." And then he'd fold it up, and there it went, and back up on the wall.
Yeah.
So it was just as much the place as it was the adventures we had.
Yep.
That always will stick in my head.
That's the great thing about.
That's fair.
And I think all of our whys for our group, like that we have when we're not talking. You know, if we got people over, we're talking reminiscing D&D stuff. Not, I went to the bar and we got in a fist fight and Tim killed everyone. You know, none of those discussions, right? Yeah.
You remember that one time.
Even though it's a true story.
You do have those discussions once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes. Not that often anymore. So, you know, but that was, you know, it's great to just reminisce with things. So, anyone else want to bring up another one? So I knew these 2 hours would fly by.
Does anybody have a favorite Forgotten Realms module?
The Daggerdale ones are fun, right?
We played the Avatar trilogy. I will say this: we used the printed adventures. We played a ton of them. Like Halls of the High King was a really good one. That was after Chuck. You remember this? It would have been after the Doug Niles novels in time, so it was probably early '90s. Right. That was a really good one because it took place with those characters from Moonchase, the early Moonchase trilogy, and it took those characters a little bit ahead in time. That was probably my favorite Forgotten Realms module because we played a lot of Forgotten Realms up until 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't want to say things got stagnant. We refreshed our kind of outlook on GREYHAWK and came back to it. But I'd say that was probably my favorite one.
Ruins of Undermountain's in the top 30 too. There, Jeremy. So.
Well, of course, you can't ignore Undermountain shit, man. You know, that's like, amazing. You know, Nightmare Keep was another good one that was a big one. Like Curtis, like you were mentioning, that was good that we played a lot of.
Well, a lot of.
Like you said, Under Illfarm. Under Illfarm was one of the early printed Forgotten Realms modules. Never played it, but I own it. It's actually pretty cool.
I think it was the first, might have been.
Yeah, because they also start with 0 levels. If I remember right, they go from like 0 to 4, 0 to 3 was the span of that one. But that was actually pretty cool too.
Gary, you'll understand this. We probably one of the Forgotten Realms ones that we wore out a bunch was, of course, Waterdeep, right? Because it's the way it was laid out inside and all that cool shit.
That's the
GREYHAWK. You know what we did?
Yeah.
We used that to jump off into guess where Jungles of Cholt back in. I think it came out first in like 82 or something. And it makes complete sense, of course, because here I'm gonna have Isle of Dread now, yet in Forgotten Realms, you know. So with me. But that was those two modules we played a lot of that because I wanted to play it.
That map for the city is ridiculous how big it is for Waterdeep.
Yes, it's huge.
It's huge.
That's that module, man. That thing for Waterdeep was I think I've got a couple 3 copies here just because we wore them out. Mine are just tore to pieces, you know. We just use them.
So same here. Yeah. But I'll get into it with Ed because we're going to have one at GaryCon where we're going to talk about he says there are adventuring groups and adventurers the questing of both realms on a regular basis. So we're going to talk about that in a seminar with Ed. Anna and I are at GaryCon.
Or Ed.
Or Ed, always. And I got another thing. Ed's going to be back in a couple weeks. So, all right. Anyone want to wrap this up and talk about, anything to close it out? So go for it. I appreciate you all coming on such short notice. I'm getting there. Yeah.
We really just come to check on you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have the ice pack right here again. I'm holding it down.
We needed
That's
proof
good.
of life.
Yeah.
Proof of
Seriously, I was so out cold that first day on Monday. I was in the bed with my mouth open like this, and she said, "I know you weren't, but when I went by the one time, you looked like you were freaking dead." So, and she's like, "I know you weren't, but yeah, because I was all pale and stuff. Getting a full organ removed is not fun." So,
Yeah.
How much XP do you get from being here? Edison Edition, thank you for the follow. Skagith, you get my utmost respect. You're on 58 months yourself, man. I mean, think about that. You're 2 months away from 5 years, man.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I appreciate the support. I really do. So that was a good one. Anyone else want to say anything?
Good night.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on. I enjoyed the discussion.
Yeah.
I stayed
Yeah,
much
it was
longer
great
than I thought
having
it would.
you here.
Shaq, thanks,
I
man.
powered through my voice here to stay. So.
It's a good topic.
Yeah, it's something that, and there's so many we probably missed. Like the one that Tim and I are going to have to, I think we may have done it, but we really need to talk about, oh my God, what's the other one on the Wall of Fame? My brain, you can tell my brain's starting to go. Hold on, let me bring it up. Oh my God.
Fortress Elendar.
Yeah, Fortress Elendar. Yeah. We gotta bring that one up another point too. That is a really fun one. Had some super unique magic items.
Is that the one you were thinking of?
That's exactly the one I was thinking of. I'm just, I got too much.
Good times.
That's not it. I was trying to open up the picture for it, and I can't.
Yeah, I'm not trying to remember which one you're talking about.
Because it's a third-party publication.
Third party, yeah.
And so.
Oh, that's why I probably don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to think of it.
It's on my Wall of Fame. See down here, right, Fortress Elendar, right next to Dark Tower. All right, and so it's down on my wall. That's a sealed copy I was able to get.
Oh no, I don't think I've ever ever read that. No.
So that is it. Fortress Elendar. Jeffrey Dillow. Yeah, he did like 3 or 4
What company put that out, Jay?
Excuse me.
What company put that out?
It's Jeffrey C. Dillow. You may be able to get one. I think I got this one on Amazon for $15 sealed. So they're out there. They are out there, and he has a couple other ones. Morgard is another one, right, Tim?
You had a couple of them. You had ones I didn't have them.
Yeah. So
okay.
It was it was from like 1980-81. He created his own old school D&D system, so it was really easy to convert.
Oh, okay.
To convert these over. And Fortress Elendar is really cool, and it's actually
it's a good storyline. It's a
really good storyline. And then Anna was kind enough back in here, and I'll show you where mine is. This is pre-Wars, GREYHAWK Wars, but this is when the Bandit Kingdoms were coming, and there it is, Fortress Elendar, right there.
Cool.
Have a nice map.
Yeah.
Don't get Gary going on the Shieldlands though. I'm going to hear a lot of crap about
No,
it.
but I will compliment Jay and I think Horror in the Hools. I haven't run it yet, but I think I would like it a lot.
Excellent.
That's fun.
Jay, I want to say good night. I want to jump ship first.
No problem.
And say good night to
Thanks
everyone.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Good seeing you, Tim.
Great seeing
Hey,
you
Tim.
all.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Good night, Tim.
So,
I'm gonna follow him out because I'm gonna go.
Chuck, I know you're not feeling well. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do some shout outs, and we're gonna do the giveaway, and then we'll raid into someone. So,
great seeing everybody, catch up with you guys and everything. It was fun. We'll have to do it again.
Absolutely,
For sure.
Chuck.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Talk
Hey, Chuck.
All right, y'all have a good evening then. All right,
it.
y'all rock on. See ya.
Good night.
So,
Nine.
Carlos and I ran that at Gary at Gen Con 2018.
Nice.
The 2 parts, and it went up through the adventure for that, and Curtis has been through it.
Anything with Lostery in it's got to be cool.
Horror in the Hools.
I think
Curtis got
I
zapped.
can't remember what I played. Was that the first time I played Fritz?
It may have been the first time you played Fritz. So, yeah. But yeah, it could have been.
Wastry's Blessing.
Yeah, Wastry's Blessing. I was a homegrown spell by myself. So yeah,
Yeah, so I think the paladin got hit with that, and he started getting all sorts of welts and sores all over him.
Oof.
Yes, it's fun. But thanks for that, those kind words, Gary. So, anyone want to shout anything out that they're doing?
Just keep an eye out for Visions 4 soon.
That's awesome, and that's the Underdark one, everyone.
That's
so
the Underdark.
Opens up a ton of Underdark possibilities for you. Absolutely.
The biggest zine by page count that I think has been released for Greyhawk.
Wow, was it almost 200?
It's in the hundreds and something. Yeah.
Nice. That's fantastic. Excuse me. I got. It hurts so bad to cough. I got to be real.
Yeah.
I care, man.
But I have to cough because I just got to do the right things. Get up, walk around a lot. I got up once during this, so figure we're finishing up here. There's so many Gary, things going on, and I will have another for. Let me know when Visions 5 submissions are going. I got another Ed. I'll do the NPC.
They're already coming in.
All right, I'll send that to you.
Yeah, I think you could do a show just about. Have we done a show just about third-party modules for Greyhawk?
I did one a long time ago on a Gabbin, but I can dig that up and we can revisit that. And I think it was just I think it was Anna, myself, and Tim on that one. I think because we went with Tees and Thane and all them because Tim was big on those. But I think we could do that again. I'm really interested. Yeah, absolutely, Carlos as well. I want to do the top 30 again and have.
Oh yeah, the I was just looking at it while we were talking, and there's so many I disagree with.
Absolutely. But it was all politics. Everyone had to get an adventure in on the top 30. I don't blame them for that. But ours is going to be skewed to Greyhawk, so really, it's going to be really skewed
for sure.
Yeah. So Curtis, any closing thoughts?
Greyhawk or Gary Con, Tower Gygax, Tower Gygax. That's DMing, basically what I'm doing.
Tower of Gygax. Anna, you are DMing Tower Gygax too, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Von Molko is as well, right?
Yeah, Von Molko, we got some people lined up, and they're coming in every week. More people coming in and getting and grabbing stuff. So there's definite industry people, community people. It'll be a really fun time.
Michael's a great DM.
And 2-hour blocks, quick hits. Anna found the magic to her 2-hour block. And again, I'll give Jay a little bit more love tonight. He did survive. The only one that survived.
Yeah. But, the first one, there was a lot of burning doors and stuff. They had a lot of fun. Yeah.
So once Anna unlocked it, Anna was brutal, awesome, magical. It was great. But that's what's going on outside of just the day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Because we're next week is Thanksgiving. It's going to be the first of the year before we know it, and we're going to get down to the last.
Curtis is going to run a Champions game on a Saturday at some point, though, and hopefully in December if we can do it.
And that'll be the other thing we do. Yeah. So we'll just figure out what cast of super meta humans we want to put together for that adventure. It'll be a fun morning.
As long as I play Mitch Kumstein, I'm fine.
He was great. Good golfer. Could have gone pro. But that's what I got.
Out putting at night. Yeah. Oh man, I can't make myself laugh.
Don't laugh, Jay.
Anna, what are you up to?
I'm with the GIS, and also I'm thinking about publishing some IUCN stuff as well, so to speak. Some spells and monsters that I've used in adventure, so they kind of outed. So I think it's time to put some publish some stats and stuff on. And I'm not going to publish them, but I can announce them. There is now a much tougher tier of zombie goats.
Oh my
god!
Way tougher than the previous ones. So
dire zombie goats.
Abyssal
demonic
ones.
Abyssal,
demonic ones and stuff. Yeah, so they're going up to probably about the previous ones were like CR4, I think it was a 3 or 4. These ones go up to 10 or 12. So these
Awesome.
most tough ones. So yeah,
Nice.
and they come with AI art too. I did some AI Photoshop art that comes with them too. So they will be, now I need to play test them, and so Page will probably be a good time to do some unleash some really bad ones. We'll see. Yep, some really tough ones.
I
Yep.
know this is a tough one for you because you're not a macho person, but thanks for, you got changing your schedule for shopping, because I put this on
yeah,
Anna first.
that
I
was
called
easy.
her
We
Tuesday.
we
like,
got
"I'm
yeah
running
we
this
got we got home early, so there were no problems. So yep. Yep.
Les,
Yes.
what,
Hey.
anything to shout out?
Nothing. Still working away at a few projects. Hopefully Gary will have his hands on some of them in the near future. There are a few delays there, but the campaign will be getting underway. I hope in December, and we'll be seeing how my players permanently alter the map of GREYHAWK if they do.
Cool.
And other than that, no, just pretty much relaxing, trying to just stay sane. Other than that, and worrying about certain people who overextend themselves.
This is keeping me sane, Les. That's I know this guy's Jeff put a post on Facebook, says take care of yourself, and I said, Jeff, I got to do this for I can't go. Sitting here is not going to be that hard. I may have a little pain here and there, but I can sit here. I can't run RPGs. I can't be up and down, up and down. That's we're going to be off a couple weeks, but I can do the Hawk shows. Absolutely, 100% there. So
Stay out of Meryl's grasp.
Yeah, exactly.
We tend to lose Greyhawkers in December.
Yep, that's true. Unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
Or
yep.
Here's what's going on.
Changing the subject a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gary, you already shouted out, right? I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we're going to talk about this, developing stories from published source. I'll give you my example. Varnafane, 2 paragraphs. I turned it into a whole Earth Journal article, right? And I've used it in my campaign for the last 30, as long as it was out. So little tidbits, a tidbit here, a tidbit there. You take it and you run with it. Another one's Swan Maze. Or another one is
Cinch bugs.
What's that?
Cinch bugs.
Cinch bugs. Manganese. Nitrogen.
Beekeeping in Badwall.
Oh, good one.
I did an article about that, just based on a line in Gygax's novel. And yeah.
Hopefully, the Catholic comes out next Monday, so I'll still have it in. But I got a leg one for during the day, and I got the big bag for the night. Yeah, you don't need to hear all those gory details. Now, this is the only thing that's scheduled out beyond. We'll do Legends of Lore maybe it's the night before Thanksgiving, but I'm not going anywhere. So, all right. Thursday night, December 5th, is my 3-year Twitch partner anniversary. Ed is playing, and I just named it The Cleansing. There you go. So Ed will be in it, whichever of my guys are here, and then I may have 1 or 2 other people. All right, so just and that'll be the Twitch partner anniversary. Don't know if I'm on the front page. I requested it, but if not, we're still gonna have a fun time. We're gonna have giveaways from both Frog God and Troll Lord that night. So we're gonna have a lot of good giveaways to celebrate 3 years as a partner. So, yep. And Ed said, "Yeah, I'll play on a Thursday." I'm like, "Cool." So there you go. And that's my weird background. This background's changed now, and I haven't switched it back. So, so the giveaway here. Let's see, wins tonight. So that's it. The cleansing, colonoscopy prep. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. Here we go. Closing it out. Then the winner tonight is the fine line again. I think fine line. If you're on, I think you are you in the UK? So I sent you a TLG gift certificate last time. Yeah, right. Because I mailing this out would cost me 30. Yeah. So all right, I'll get with you. Hopefully you used it. I'll get you another one for that. Michael, are you on? How about Michael? Can we do a 15? I know I'm asking. I'm putting on the spot. I apologize. A 15 Frog God instead tonight. I'll let everyone know your kindness and generosity from Frog God's got some great old school stuff. So yeah.
Put on the Underhills bill.
Yes, put it on the
go ahead,
Underhills bill.
Michael.
Yes, there you go. So Michael will send that to me fine line, and I'll get it to you. So awesome. Very, very cool. All right. So we're going to raid into the 3-time champion of the joust. There's a lot of there's a lot on, but there's not any D&D streams. I did Folk and Myth and Charm Fantasy last 2 weeks. I want to change it up. But Bones is on. She's playing some video games. Just go in and say hi, because she's such a great person and player. She'll be at GaryCon too, playing with Eric Mona, Myriad, and a couple other. Oh, and Coco and Korg the Mighty, in that group. That'll be the Friday game. So. Yeah, that's cool, Michael. I'll do it. We'll get it to a fine line in a day. It'll be no problem. So, all right. Thank you all, man. You guys made this a real easy comeback. So,
Thank you for the invite, Jay. I love being around.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Of course. I knew everyone would have some nice
fun.
stories to tell, and we got some other shows out of it, for this coming up. So I'll get with I'll see when Eric Mona is available on a Wednesday. I think he can do Wednesdays a lot easier than Sundays now. It's only a 1 hour difference, Gary. So we'll see if we got to push that show back an hour. Start 8 o'clock start time instead of 7.
Oh yeah, that's
that may work to try and get all them together. So thank you all. Thanks, Brunkel. These are awesome. I showed everyone the picture of me doing the gabbing with I'll show it because Curtis didn't see it. We got Ed's head down, laughing his ass off. Remember that, Curtis?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really well done. Yeah, I think you showed it when I was driving. I couldn't veer in real quick.
So you got Kurt on one side with his good friend, you, Anna, and Ed with his head down laughing at a joke that was made or something. So
it's something. That's outstanding. That's cool looking.
Yep.
Right on.
Yeah, I got a couple other ones here. I got Advantages is having the balls basically, and
that was Founders and Legends this year. Yep.
Yeah, that was during a standard Sunday night. I ran a gabbing.
the early when we got to GaryCon before the weekend before GaryCon.
After Page, I will start making arrangements because I'll have 4 sessions just like at Wednesday night at GaryCon this year to get at least 6 to 8 people around that table just like we did last year. And I'll randomize which group gets the free ice cream.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do a Last Supper post with Ed in the middle. Oh, man, Dale. I don't know if I do a Last Supper post. You know what I would do? I'd do a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the Wild Bunch picture. That would be cool. That's what I would do. Yeah, with Ed in the middle there. Oh, BB, every year now. The story goes like 3 or 4 GaryCons ago, I supposedly stole Josh Pop's chocolate ice cream or his daughter's or whatever. Was it yours?
It was mine.
Oh,
it was my ice cream. Yeah, and you were enjoying it, and I heard about it, and you couldn't say enough good things about the ice cream that was supposed to go to me.
Yes. So every year now at this talk show, I give one of the groups. I have Coco and Bird went last time. I paid the tab for it, and we just brought back a whole bunch of ice creams. I know. Yeah. I think it was Von Moku and Rob, and a lot of people got it. So
it's awesome. It's a thing now.
It's a thing. I don't mind doing it. So
no, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm definitely Bill with the Mesh Script and I are definitely staying Sunday night now, Curtis. All right. So
excellent. Yeah. I've got a really good place in mind. We'll talk about that for
just
Sunday dinner.
2 spots now with Bill as well. All right.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so let's read into Bones, okay? She's doing whatever Just Crow things are, but let's read into her. Say hi, say 3-time champion, but putter her up a little bit, and then if you got to roll, you got to roll. It's understandable. So let me say, am I going to hit the wrong button? Man, you guys made this so easy. Thank you so very much. It means a lot to me. So, all right, not tearing up. All right, we'll see you Sunday night. Yeah, the Wall of Fame is on So
I just posted the fake one.
Oh, cool, man.
so people could look at it.
That's funny because people Rob Phantom thought I had it up there, and I'm like, no. Yeah. Like, no. 23 followers away from 12,000, by the way. 23.
Pretty cool.
All right. All right, raid's going in. Nice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you Sunday. Thank you.
You would have told me I would have ended my day hanging out with Anna, Gary, and Les on a stream. I would have told you you're lying to me.
Okay, let me shut this off.